You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey, folks! Welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, Thursday night live call-in show.
Does that do a thing? Let's see.
It does. It allows me to yell.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm a professional.
Wah, wah, wah. There we go.
There
All
it
right,
is.
Wayne keeping me on cue there. Yeah.
I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Wayne.
Mike.
And we're the Beans and Dice podcast, Thursday night live call-in show. A little bit off sync
order.
because back into the studio.
We have a third.
yeah.
Third. Live here in
Third
person.
chair
Yeah.
live in the studio.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for joining us tonight.
Been a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Well,
It has. Let me organize the names on this. I think
there you go. You type. So we got a little pre-game, pre-show gaming, I should say. Let me get if I can say that straight. Easy for you to say.
English is not your first language.
So yeah, so Wayne made it over tonight, and so I showed up a little extra early so that we could get a game in. So
Nice.
we'll reveal that in a minute and talk about that. It'll be kind of our first topic, but just a quick throw out there. So tonight's the Thursday night call-in show. So we want you to call, tell us what you've been up to, tell us what you've been playing, tell us what you've been hearing in the news. This is your show, so we want to take it wherever you want to go. We've got a couple
Which
of topics.
we will do that once we open up
Yep,
the
phone lines.
primer. We'll get the primer going.
So we got 20 minutes. We're going to keep the phone lines shut off. It's kind of our new format here. We'll see how this works out. We've done it for a couple of weeks, but first 20 minutes, we're just going to chat about a few topics, throw a few things out there, and then give you something if you want to call in and talk about those things. But if you have a completely different topic, that's fine too. Call, tell us what you want to talk about, and we'll go into depth on it. So,
And I think what we'll do is open it up with a review,
Okay.
at least a review for Rob and I, and an initial play thoughts.
yeah, first play.
We'll have Michael jump in this review as well of Tyrants of the Underdark. So Wayne got his first play of Tyrants of the Underdark today, pre-show, first edition of Tyrants of the Underdark. And what I'd like to do is keep things moving along in the Beans, Give It the Beans review style. For you folks at home, Give It the Beans, BEANS. B is the basics, E is enjoyment, A is aesthetics, N is negatives, S is the summary, where I like to say try, buy, try, or deny.
Okay.
Is the way I like to measure that. I mean, that's the simplest way to do it. So let's talk about the basics. Rob, it's your game. Give us a quick basics. Quick
Okay.
2-minute explanation.
All right.
What is Tyrants of the Underdark?
Timing, 2 minutes. So I got 5 minutes, right?
And go.
All right. Anyway, so the quick version, I mean, the way this game is known, the reason this game is really known is it was the first, if not still only one of a few that I know of, pure deck building area control games. So you took two extremely popular mechanisms from games, deck building. This is a pure... half of the game is deck building. I mean, you're talking about your dominions, you're just basic deck builders. Each turn, you're buying some cards out of a market. You've got some starter cards that'll allow you to either attack or to buy stuff. And so each turn, you're buying stuff and you're attacking. You buy cards out of a market that upgrade those abilities and add in some keywords that allow you to do some other things as you go. And then a big part of it is the other half of the game is the board. There's an area control. So your classic area control games, you're trying to use these cards, build this deck so that you can then do things on the main board. Most of your points are going to come from fighting each other, knocking people out of areas. At the end of the game, controlling different areas on the board. This D&D theme on this one. So I'd say the theme is probably fairly pasted on, but the D&D definitely
Lies.
Yeah, is helpful for a lot of people. Brought a lot of people into this game. And as I was telling Wayne earlier, this is a game we played a lot back in the day. This is one that we pulled out regularly at game days. We introduced a lot of people to it, and I'd say Carlos and I at one point probably both had this game in our top 10 games of all time. We were both just enamored with it for a couple of years. It's fallen a little bit. I mean, it is an older title. I don't know if you caught what year it came out, so it's been around a little while. But that's the basics.
No, it's not that old, like 2016.
2016, I think.
Okay, so it's not that old. Yeah, not quite as old as I thought. But that's the basics. So area control, deck building. We played tonight, teaching a new player in less than 45 minutes, I think. So it's a quick game.
Overall, it's currently ranked at 163 on the BGGs with 110 for strategy games.
Yep.
It's weighted at a 2.57,
Yeah.
which I would say is about accurate.
Yeah.
I think maybe a little lighter. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say maybe a little lighter.
Right dead center, I think.
Yeah.
It's got, and I think you go into the basics. I think, anyone, if you've played any sort of deck building game, right? So the DC deck building game or any like you usually lay it out and okay, I can buy from the market, and then if I can't buy from the market, I can go here and buy a kick and a punch, right?
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
basically, so it's like if you could just change out the terminology very quickly, and you just know, okay, that's attack power, that's buy power. You get 5 cards, you refresh. So there's nothing new there as far as deck building. And I don't know where this came out in the realm of other, DC deck building is probably a little before that. But the area control, I think, is cool.
Yeah,
that adds a little bit of a flavor to it.
Well, let's go. Yeah. Let's give it the beans. Give it the beans, as I like to call it.
Basics,
on the basics. So we did the basics. Now let's talk about enjoyment. So we'll go around the horn. Mike, you own a copy of this. Anything you enjoy about this? Any points you want to bring up?
Just the way that they kind of worked in the area control. There's, I don't. It's a great game. The way that you can put your spies in areas, but you still, with your regular soldiers, you kind of have to work your way through to get to certain areas. The other part of it that I love is the way that they mitigate. Like, because when you have your starter cards, there's always a way that you have to mitigate, your crappy cards, either get them out of your rotation or whatever. These, you promote them. There's like a thing that they call promoting, where if cards that you buy from the market give you the ability to promote your card, it means that it takes it out of your hand and typically will increase the value of that point, or increase the point value of the card at the end of the game. But they're like kind of put into like this circle, kind of like a coaster looking thing to get them out of the game.
It's like Meet the Fockers, the Circle of Trust.
The inner circle.
There you go. Yeah. You're in the circle of trust. But it's, I enjoy that part, especially when kind of like when the game's coming to an end, you start promoting those cards like faster and faster. Your really good cards you start promoting. So, but
Wayne,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Michael.
I was just going to say, I enjoy this game, and it scales very well from 2 to 4 players.
Any points that you saw, Wayne, that you enjoyed?
So yeah, the enjoyment. I think, like I said, it doesn't iterate on necessary area control, and it doesn't iterate on deck building, but puts them both together and melds them very well. I really like like he said, the promotion aspect of it is you're not trashing the cards. In a lot of deck building games, when you trash a card, it's gone from the game. So if you bought a card, and even your starter cards, it's a way to make your starter cards, instead of most deck building games, you're looking to just get rid of your starter card. In this, you're looking to get rid of it, but you're scoring a point by getting rid of it. You're making it more valuable. So I like that aspect. I think, like Carlos, you won the game by 2 points. And had I done better at figuring out the game was going to end soon, I might have promoted, instead of a starter card, promoted another card. Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I like that aspect. And I know the theme is kind of pasted on, but it is a cool theme. The Underdark, it's not pasted on it's pasted on in fact that you could change this to be a lot of different themes. Right?
Okay, I'll agree.
But the theme is cool. I like the Underdark. I like the Drow. I like the D&D theme. It's kind of cool. I think the cards, when you read the flavor text on the cards, which I know Rob never did, but I was doing
no, not me.
No, he did once.
He did
once.
Doppelganger.
The
Doppelganger, which is kind of cool.
It was only 4 words.
It was thematic, and the cards made sense. And I like the fact, we played with 2 decks, and there's 6 total. So
with the expansions,
the combinations there are pretty cool. So it's kind of like you have a little bit of the smash up aspect with the deck, where you can take 2 different factions and you have not infinite possibilities, but a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, you're picking 2 stacks of cards and then melding them into one, and then each of those stacks has a different theme. Right. So you can do kind of the
dragons,
the
drow,
the dragons. There's undead, and they all come with different mechanisms that you add to the game. So new keywords that do different things. So your game flavor could change.
So it has a lot of replayability there, which is cool.
Yep, definitely is. For me, just simply, it's just I love both of those mechanics. I love deck building games. I was big on Dominion. I still play Dominion occasionally, and so this is very similar. It's that same kind of feels, and that's where Dominion kind of started. That wave of games, and then I like area control. I've always been a fan of area control. I like war games mostly for that part of it, for the area control, trying to dominate somebody, pushing back on the board, taking over areas. So this was one of the first games that, if not, like I say, the first popular one that added those 2 mechanics together. I'm sure there's some more since then. I'm trying to think of, I guess even like Lost Ruins of Arnak, you could say. Right. It's got a lot of other stuff, but it's got some deck building aspects.
Sure.
It's got some board area control type stuff, but this one's just purely those 2. And we talked, I think, last week about games trying to do too many things and trying to be everything to all different people. This was before that fad kind of really started and got hot and heavy, but this game doesn't try to do a lot of different things. It takes those 2 mechanisms, shoves them together, and does really well at both of them, I think, and that's where I find my enjoyment. So
And I'll say for my enjoyment is the different decks that you play with, they swap out different keywords. So like what Rob talked about, not trying to be too much, right? So if we're only playing with 2 decks, we're only playing with 2 sets of keywords.
Yeah.
Those sets of keywords may change, but you're not dealing with like 8 sets of keywords.
And there's only a couple of keywords in each set. I mean, it's really kind of minimum. I'm going over it with Wayne on the back of the thing. It tells you in the base set you get 4 decks. The other 2 are expansions, and so they each add a couple more keywords. But it just on the back of the book, there's like 8 keywords for the whole first 4 decks. I mean,
So it's not overpowering. It's easy to teach. So that's our enjoyment for the E. Aesthetics, A. This one should go pretty quick, but there's 2 versions of this game now.
Yeah, got to point that out.
So, Michael, talk to us about the different versions.
The original version has the little plastic miniatures for like your soldiers and your spies, and the new version comes in and also the older box is like one of the longer type boxes, similar to like Power Grid, that type of size. The new one, although it comes with all the expansions, so you don't have to buy the expansions if you have the newer one. Smaller box, that's more of a square box. The cards are better quality from what I understand. I've still never played with the new version, but all the plastic pieces in the old version are now chits, like cardboard chits in the new one. I prefer the older one, the original one. And I always say, like, if I ever had a chance to buy the newer one for real cheap, I would buy the newer one, take all those cards, put them in the older one, put the old cards in the new one, and then sell the new one off. I wouldn't even bother punching it or anything. I just want the better quality cards. But I mean, other than that, it looks great when it's on the table. It's real easy to make out. The colors are very distinctive, so there's really no question of, is that this color or that? I mean, it is like...
It doesn't do the what was the Stonemaier game?
It doesn't.
Yeah,
yeah, it definitely doesn't do that.
Yeah,
Everybody's got their little
shields for the soldiers and the little
the little place where you
spies.
keep your cards. Everything is color coordinated to who you are. It's very simple to make out, but I enjoy the aesthetics of it. Yeah,
I would like to see the new board, because you said the new board is somewhat different than the old board.
I think there was some
Is
new
it?
art on the new board. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, new art. Oh, okay.
Hey, a smaller box is a plus for the newer one.
Sure.
Better cards is a better thing. And those plastic minis are cool. I definitely would want those plastic minis, but also the little shields are kind of like, I wish
They're
they
just
were
shields.
They're just shields. If
Yeah.
I had little guys, little soldiers, and little spies, that would have been cooler. But I definitely think that it's definitely a downgrade to go from the plastic to the cardboard.
And I know we talked about the card quality improving, being linen finish, but Rob, we've played this game a ton of times, your
Yeah.
copy at least,
Mine's
and
not
I
that
still
beat up.
have not seen wear
Yeah.
on the
No.
cards. They've held up well, they shuffle well, and Rob does not sleeve his cards. So
Nope.
when it comes to the artwork and the components, which is what the aesthetics, the A and the beans goes for.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you guys because I'm not the big D&D fan. What do y'all think of the artwork and the?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty standard kind of D&D.
Wizards of the Coast.
Wizards of the Coast. That they have that look for their drow and
It's like right out of their manuals, right out of their
if you had like
adventure
a
guides.
Underdark book, it seems like the artwork would be right from.
And then the flavor text is great. Yeah. You know, I know
Yeah, I
Rob
do like
read
that.
the Doppelganger flavor
Doppelganger.
text, which was nice life you have there. I think I'll take it.
Yeah,
Right?
I'll take that. Yeah,
I'll take that.
yeah.
That was pretty cool.
it's fitting.
Yeah. And I do appreciate that the new version comes with the expansions, right? It's all in one, so you don't have to buy them separate anymore. So that's kind of cool.
That is very nice. Now we get to the ends of the beans, the negatives.
None.
So,
Sorry. Move on.
anybody
Next. Summer.
anybody want to lead off that topic for negatives? I guess I'll start it off while y'all think. For me, one of the negatives, and I'm nitpicking here.
I'm gonna just
It's
point
a
out
great
that
game.
while we were playing, Carlos was trying to find a negative. I could
Right.
tell, and when he finally found something, he's like, there it is. There's the negative.
There it is.
Yeah.
It really is
and
nitpicking, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Which is good. That's a good
Yeah.
sign of a game.
Okay.
Yeah.
The scoring. Now this is also a positive. The scoring at the end of the game, you will score every card you have in your deck for their value. Every card has 2 values on it. One is the value of the card if it's still in your deck / discard, or 2, the value of the card if you had promoted it into your inner circle. So that's a fun mechanism. But having to go through a deck that I built the whole game and count 1, 2, 3, 4,
Like
5,
30 cards, but
you know, it's a thing. So
Yeah.
It's pretty nitpicky.
it is nitpicky.
There's like a million. I mean, you have to do
But
that
it's
in Arnak,
cool
You have to do that in a bunch, yeah.
because you don't feel like you lost anything for buying that card.
Right.
Everything's a positive experience.
Yeah,
on
there's
that.
no negative there. So.
I can't think of anything else.
No, I really can't think of a negative. I mean, it's really just a pretty solid game. There's nothing that sticks out as like a damn, that's not very cool, or I don't like it.
I got one thing personally. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go.
Just one personally before I forget, because I'm
No
old and I
cubes.
forget stuff. But no cubes. That's number one. But number
You
two.
can give me all the plastic pieces out of yours, and we'll get it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Is the little tokens for controlling areas. I always forget, and Carlos was trying to help me. Put it over here. Put it over here. Put it on top of your deck. Put it over there so you don't forget it. But the one, if you have control of one of the cities, I can't say how many because depending on the number
Complete
of
control,
players, it scales. So it's anywhere from 3 to I think 7 if you're in a 4-player game. But anyway, if you have control of an area, if majority control, you get the one side of the chit, which usually gives you just +1 on your buy power that round. And if you have total control, which means you own all the spaces in that city area, you flip it over to the total control side. It usually gives you like a +1 to your buy power, and then gives you either 1 or 3 victory points for every round that you hold that it comes back around to you. And so I always forget to do that. I always lay out all my buy cards. I'm like, I got 5 buy, and then I go and buy a card, and then I look down again. I'm like, oh crap, I forgot I have 6 buy. There's a 6 over there. Let me undo that. Let me put that card back. Take the next one. So I mean, that's a personal thing. Probably most people don't have that issue.
No,
but,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and what's funny is 4 or 5 times during the game, I had one of those things, forgot the buy power, and as I'm doing my buy, Rob's like, "Hey, you have a buy power thing."
Did you do that
So
one?
like, you can't remember for yourself.
Yeah, I
but you
got
remember
other
for
people. Yeah, I'm more worried
No,
about other
I think
people missing it.
Not even this game, but kind of any game where you get like a temporary power, where you have a little token that you take off the board, and you got to remember that this gives me an extra buy or an extra this or an extra that. It's so hard to remember that.
Fiddly.
It's
a little fiddly.
But
yeah.
that's nothing. That's
Yeah.
so
Oh,
minor.
no. Yeah,
it's
it's minor.
nitpicky. But
Yeah.
it's like, is there a better way of remembering, or a different token, or a different way to force you to remember to take that victory point, or force you to remember to have that buy power? That like, it would almost be like if you had a rondelle that you moved it, and that's my buy power, and you always start at 1 or whatever, always start at 2. I don't know.
Or if they gave you a token that told you had a buy
I know, they
power,
always
that
forget
would
about
be.
depending on where it is on the board.
where you put it. Yeah, you got to put it right. Tape it to my forehead.
That's a criticism just of the players more than anything, because I definitely forgot several times, and like I got to the point at the end of the game.
You also
where
forgot to score your victory points.
I don't know, but what I would do is I take the victory point, put it here, and at the end of the turn move it over. But it's that upkeep that sometimes you
Yeah.
forget.
That step 2 where you gain victory points was one that we were also forgetting.
And that could be a downside of a game like this that plays so quick, and like where it's like I'm finishing my turn, you could be starting your turn. We can just you get in that groove of just going. That's when you forget.
Turns in this game are quick. We didn't mention that
real
earlier.
quick.
Turns are
Very
so
quick.
fast. It comes back to you so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got about 2 minutes till we open the phone, so I don't want to.
Any negatives out of Seattle?
I mean, other than what you guys are saying, I mean, very nitpicky. The setup time with putting all the white shields out, maybe. And again, I'm like stretching here.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's good though.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 3 free nitpicks, but they're like
Yeah.
Really?
That
pretty
gets us
minor.
to the S of beans, the summary. Would you say buy, try, or deny? We'll go West Coast to East Coast.
Without question. If you like deck builders, and if you enjoy area control, even if you really don't like the 2 together, try this one because you'll like it.
Yep. Might
This-
change your mind.
in my top 20, this is number 9, I think. This is probably, I would say, easily in my top 2 to 3 deck builders as far as favorites. And I can't even think of like what the other ones are. I'm just saying in my top 3 because I'm not sure if there is other ones. But anyway, it's a definite buy for me.
Yeah.
Wayne.
Wayne, so got the older opinion. I'll get the fresh opinion.
Yeah, I'm really close to a buy. I'm in between the 2. My issue would be how much I want the plastic pieces versus the new one, or what the prices on the new one is compared to trying to find a used copy of the original.
I've heard the old one is getting pretty hard to find.
Yeah. So I'm personally really leaning towards, hey, if I see a copy, I might buy it. I'm not going to go out and hunt it down, but if I see it, I'll probably buy
I
it.
guess next time you walk into Armada,
Maybe.
I know what you're walking out with.
Under the arm.
But then it's definitely a try. Like, definitely, it's a cool game. If you're into any, like you said, any kind of deck building or any kind of area control, it's a really good intro to that kind of both combined.
Definite buy for me. Like I say, it was top 10. I think, and I don't want to speak for Carlos, but it was top 10 for both of us for a long time, a couple of years probably. So, yeah, it's still easily in my top 50, probably around my top 20. So, yeah, great game.
Yeah, after I The only reason I haven't bought it is because you have it.
Yeah.
And
Never
Oh, I
stopped
thought
me
that would be the
before.
reason why you
The
would
reason
buy
to
it.
buy it. That's motivation.
if first edition was still out there with the minis, it would have already been up, because it wasn't available. Like Robert had it, it just wasn't available.
Yeah.
So I could never really get it. But if it was out there and available, I would have bought it. And now it's the second edition with the chits that has me kind of like, maybe.
Look on Etsy, see if there's an upgrade pack.
Or I can laser cut some minis or something. I don't know. We'll
There you
figure it out.
go.
But my in summary, my answer is, it's a buy. Like it is a buy because of the quality of the game itself. The only reason I could see you not making it a buy is if you are actively against the fantasy, the dark elf, the drow,
D&D.
that whole gothy look to it. If that's something that you're anti, then yeah, you're gonna have to find something brighter and chipper.
I mean, in that
Chipper.
regard, I will say that I've broken this out with people that do not like Dungeons and Dragons and saw the box cover and were totally turned off. And then once we got into the game, they even said, out loud, like, when I saw the box, I wasn't even interested in this because I thought it was like a D&D type of game. But if you can get past that, the gameplay itself is it's so solid.
Yeah, we've definitely introduced it to those people at some of our game days that weren't interested really much at all, and it became a regular staple for us for a while. And people would get in just because we were playing and we needed a fourth player or whatever. We wanted a fourth player, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Wow, I enjoyed that way more than I thought I was going to." So yeah,
Yeah, 3D printing some of those pieces to replace would be
Absolutely.
a good idea. I think even just upgraded acrylic, might just spruce it up just a bit. But that is our Beans and Dice review of Tyrants of the Underdark, published by Wizards of the Coast. Actually, Gale Force 9, with a license from Wizards of the Coast. Designed by Peter Lee, Rodney Thomas, and Andrew Veen. Check it out.
yeah, we can do this later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or we can do it now.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we can-
we're going to put this one on our board up back here just because we.
While I do that, while you
go
start
ahead, open
talking
the phone
about that, I'm
lines.
going to open
Yeah.
up the phone lines.
I didn't prep. I never do. So let me look over my shoulder here and see where we'd be at. All right. Slide. Ooh, headphones. Or do I have any more left? And that's it. Okay. So I'm not going to read my whole list now. If we do this later, I'll read down it. But this is going to be fairly high for me. This is the first play I've had in a little bit, but it's going to make top 10.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's going to go... Wow, this gets up there into the Unsettled at 6, the Thunder Alley at 5, Mosaic at 4 area. I think...
Thunder Alley.
Gosh, you know what? I think it's going to go between Mosaic and Thunder Alley, 4 and 5. Oh, we got a call coming in. So, yeah, that's where I'm going. Between Mosaic at 4, be Tyrants at 5, Thunder Alley at 6, and Earth.
Wow.
Earth's
Earth's
gonna
coming
drop
off the board.
Yes, Earth is dropping off at number 20.
Rob hates Earth.
Yeah, I hate Earth.
Beans and Dice podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
This is Ron Fraser from Atlanta.
Oh, your
Ron.
RPG sense was tingling when we talked about D&D.
Something like that.
I had to think about that one.
He's like,
No,
sure,
but-
we'll go with that one.
But seriously, I played Tyrants in the Underdark at Dice Tower East last year. Rob taught it, and I have similar sentiment. It's a fantastic game, and the only reason why I haven't bought it is because I want the version with the shields as opposed to the chips.
There you
I'm
go.
just trying to find something on Etsy.
I've heard a lot of people saying that.
If you could find somebody that has a 3D printer, a friend, or if you have like some areas have like a weekly or bi-weekly kind of meetup where they do 3D printing and stuff. You could probably, or even when I used to live in Florida, the Temple Terrace Library actually had 3D printers, and they would print for free anything that would take 4 hours or less, like per week, I think, that they would do free printing.
Nice.
Well,
So it's a good alternative.
I'm going to shut myself up now because I don't know why I didn't see this when I looked last year, but I did a quick Etsy search, and someone is selling the 3D printed like
Man.
shields and assassins.
Wayne's
Yeah,
getting
we're
ready to
talking.
take some notes over there.
Yeah.
Can you hear my keyboard? Are you going?
Carlos is typing it up now. He's looking for it already.
Well, there you go, man. There's your
I don't know how
chance.
much-
$20 on that.
Yeah. So
No,
stuff is out there.
That's nothing.
$20, yeah, for the whole set. It looks like.
And those little banners look better too on the Etsy ones.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to look that up now.
Yeah, it's got banners with shields. So like a standard,
Standard, yeah.
you know, like a standard flag.
That looks really good. Put that up there, man.
And you can buy the second edition now. You can buy it for around, I think it's like $35-$40. It really isn't that
That's
much
what
money.
I saw at Armada.
Oh, really? I think
You know, it
Oh,
might be a
okay.
must buy now that I have a kid at home who likes Dungeons and Dragons. I don't
There
know.
you go.
I'll just borrow Rob's copy.
Doesn't
I
take
got it.
much talking into.
Here's an image of the for
right.
those of you folks at home. Here's an image of the Etsy store with the banners and the shields. They look
Oh.
really nice.
I'll tell you what, those look actually better because the bases on the shields look wider. They don't look like they would fall over as easy.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good call out, Ron.
All right, Ron.
What else you got?
so. Like that was a big thing. I was interested in seeing what you guys were talking about. I have my birthday party on Saturday, which is great.
Nice.
I have folks who bring in the board games, and I'm gonna bring some myself. Although, like, I think I'm gonna stick to lighter games because I tend to, when I host board game events, I tend to not want to be stuck, in a heavily involved game. You know, I really like I like hosting. And so that's what we'll be doing. Although, like, it'll just be a celebration for me a month after my birthday. But I'm looking forward to that. So I was thinking though, since I have Wingspan and I got Wingspan Asia and it has the flock mode where you can play up to 7 players.
Oh God.
Carlos just threw up a little bit, but go ahead.
I might try that out. The thing is that I read the rules, but the thing is that, like, they have this dial where most of
That's
your
why I
stuff
said,
is
"Oh
in
God!"
it-
It's that dial. It's kind of like the arrows on it are off centered,
A little bit.
right, Ron?
Triggers you.
Yes.
yeah.
A lot of things don't bother me, but looking at a dial that kind of like is off like that. But Ron, why don't you just do 2 tables of Wingspan instead of one big 7-player game?
Because I haven't tried it before.
Good point. Valid.
And I haven't tried it before, and it was my birthday celebration.
So you can
So,
demand it.
like, I have exactly.
You can make it happen.
Now, Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, but you read the rules recently, and I haven't read them since it came out. When you play like the 6 or 7 player, and you have that dial, isn't there's some kind of like simultaneous play?
Yeah.
Two
Yeah, the
people
2
are
players are playing
simultaneously.
simultaneously.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem like it would add
Yeah.
tremendous amount of time to the game.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. That is the theory. I don't know how it turns out in practice, but basically, you're gonna either have 2 players or 3 players, depending on your player count, doing their stuff at the same time, and it just alternates back and forth like that. And so, yeah, it shouldn't take a ridiculously long time.
You have to let us know. Obviously,
I mean-
report back.
Yeah. If I get it to the table, we'll see. So many choices, so little time.
Oh yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So I've been getting back into to Marvel Champions big time. Although I never stopped playing. But my first year and a half, I was hitting it hard to play a couple of 100 games.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was big into it, but like the past couple of years, I've played I want to say less than half that much. Certainly less than half that much, which is still a lot for a game that might take 60 to 90 minutes. Getting say 40 to 50 plays a year is
It's a lot.
it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
yeah, and most of that is solo. But folks have been coming out to one of my local game stores here, Level Up, and new folks have gotten to the game. Mutant,
Level Up,
great. Level Up, great. Yeah, so Mutant Genesis seems to have attracted people. People like their X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather do X-Men over Marvel. That would attract me.
Yeah. So I'll actually be running an organized play event the following Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Because they have a Mutant Genesis organized play kit. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I've been with this game since the beginning, and like this would be like the first time that like I've actually been able to like coordinate an event that's gonna have more than like one or two other people show up. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Awesome.
So that's what's going on here in my neck of the woods. Other stuff I've been pondering has been a lot of RPG stuff, but I'm gonna save that
For tomorrow,
for another show.
Night.
We plan on recording a dialogue discussion about RPGs tomorrow. We will do it live stream, and we'll open up the phone lines for those that want to participate. But for the most part, it's just going to be maybe an hour or so of Carlos, Wayne, and Ron chatting about RPGs.
That wasn't Rob. That was Ron. Yeah. Let's be clear there.
We're gonna strap him.
We're gonna take the B out.
Yeah.
and bring Ron in. Now, Ron, you talked about the organized play that you're putting on. I know myself and I know Wayne have been a part of organized play in different games in the past, either as judges or organizers. And there's usually something for those folks that volunteer their time. What are you getting out of running an organized event for Marvel Champions? Like what does today look like for someone who volunteers? What does FFG provide? Does the shop provide anything? What are you getting?
Well, what FFG provides is just like accessories. This is a Mutant Genesis themed organized play kit. So there's a limited number of hero dials, and like there's going to be like special art hero cards. And so there's a limited number of packs for that. And so they're going to run the event until it runs out. But basically, I'm guaranteed to get my hands on that stuff for one. Although I didn't really need that. And as far as what the store's offering, I don't know yet. Because we just talked about this week, and I was just so excited that I just raised my hand and volunteered. So
you're like, I'll pay you to do it.
Exactly.
I think that's, like you have a lot of experience too with like your Blood Bowl stuff, and I used to be a judge for WizKids and ran a lot of their play events and stuff.
Yeah.
If you love a game, you want to spread it. You want to get more people to play. But man, it's a lot of work to do that stuff, to organize tournaments and organize the play, and then you don't. Yeah. At least when I was judging HeroClix, you don't get to play in the tournaments when you're when you're the judge. You just got to sit there and watch other people play for 6 hours or whatever it is. Right. So it's like
do it for the love of the game.
See, but like FFG of 2014, 2015, if you ran a tournament for X-Wing, you also got some of that cool
swag
prize, right? The prizes, the alternate artwork cards or the special tokens.
I got all the the limited edition figures.
Right, you would get that for being the organizer. And it kind of was asking for Ron to find out, what does that look like today, post-COVID, in organized play? Are they giving out the premium stuff to the TO, the tournament organizer?
Yeah. So now I haven't organized anything for Fantasy Flight prior to COVID, so I don't know if there's any difference. But like, I'm definitely getting my pick of the swag that's being offered.
Glad to hear. And that was like the main question. It's still there. For those of you that love your game, find out from your local shop. It does cost your shop money to buy the kits. from the different
Yes.
companies, FFG, Gale Force 9, all these different companies. They provide kits if you run tournaments. So if you get enough people together to pitch in money, they can buy the kit, and then you as the TO will usually get something out of it.
And that's usually why like most places charge like $5 or $10 for the tournament, because that would cover the
Yeah,
kit or
and
whatever.
and in this case, they're not charging anything. It's completely free. And I think the thought is to bring people in.
Your first
and
one's
draw them
free.
into
Next
it.
one's going to cost you.
Like any smart dealer.
Get them hooked.
Yeah.
I think volunteering at local stores was always so much better than volunteering at a con for the game publishers, because like when you go demo games at a game store or run a tournament or run a judge, it's like a one day, it's like a 4 or 5 hour commitment. You're there, and then you can hang out after and play games or whatever, and you get to drive home because it's local, right? But you go to a con, oh my god, I will never volunteer for a game company at a con.
That's rough. We've all done it.
again.
Yeah, we've all done it.
I couldn't walk straight after like 3 days of Dragon Con.
I
Volunteering
couldn't
for
walk out of the hall at Dragon Con. We walked off they let us go. We started to walk to Carlos's
True
car, and I was
story.
like, I got to sit on the floor.
I
for
said, what do you mean?
30 minutes.
I said, what do you mean, Rob? There's no benches here. We're like in the middle of a hallway. There's nothing here. And he just sat himself down.
Sat down on the floor.
And I stood there like, this is weird.
I think they've gotten better at it, or some are better than others. But man, like you do like 4 or 5 hour or 6 hour shifts, standing on your feet. And if they didn't pay to have the upgraded cushioning floor, like some game companies will pay extra to have that really cushiony foamy floor. And some of them
Cool
like,
stuff was not one of them.
yeah, most of the game companies like, no, screw you. You can stand on
the
concrete for
concrete.
6 hours.
Yeah. Yep. Been there, done that more than once. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like a walk on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. I mean, it was bad. Good topics, Ron. Good topics. Or you want to close out your call?
Wow. Yeah. So, if you folks don't know who I am, I have an internet presence. I have an Instagram, Ron Talks Tabletop, and Facebook, Ron Talks Tabletop. If you're interested in RPG stuff, I talk about that mainly on my YouTube channel, Ron Fraser. And you folks can find me on the Dice Tower at Board Game Breakfast once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thanks
Awesome.
again for your call. We will see you tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern. We'll meet up with Ron just before that and throw in a live cast and get a podcast recorded about RPGs. We appreciate you, Ron.
All right. Likewise, gentlemen, take care.
Have a good evening, Ron.
Good
Thanks
night.
for calling.
See ya.
That's our buddy, Ron Fraser. Phone lines open again, 813-618-7099.
I feel like they're not throwing Ron under the bus, but he should be on the Dice Tower more often, because I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of the Dice Tower contributors is just all board game stuff, and they end up talking about the same board games. So I like when people like Ron come on and maybe talk about an RPG or how RPGs and board games interact, or just stuff other than like, I played this game and this is what I think of the game. Like, I don't necessarily. I like to see something different from the contributors from now and then. So it's good when you see him. And there's another guy that does like the high production value with like all the blue screen stuff, where he's like, I forget his name. Is
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I don't remember his name either, but
he hasn't been on a little bit, but he's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Anyway,
I miss the wargaming parts of it, and that's where I'd love for William and I to get some more war games played, and then talk about those war games.
do you remember the crazy dude?
Yes, out of Canada.
Or whatever, it was like the dad. He would put on
Yeah.
the different hats. He'd put on
Yeah,
the
different
different
voices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
He's
him.
still War and Pieces.
TVG.
He's still on with Rob Oren.
Oren?
And him and Rob Oren still do stuff
do they really?
together on Rob's channel.
Nice.
But it seems like ever since Sam left, the wargaming presence is gone.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Sam was the big part of that. So they got different people. I mean, they bring people in and out, obviously,
Yeah,
as
it's
they
always
need
rotating
to.
through. It's
Yeah,
yeah. Cool.
people have
I tell you what,
different
they have the kid that's on now, that Codes Nanite. And
Yeah.
it's he's obviously learning,
Mhm.
and it's good though, because I use that as an example to show my kid who wants to kind of do his own YouTube stuff. And I'm
That's
like,
cool.
See this guy? He's here's his first on the Dice Tower, and here's him a year later. You can see how
His progression.
and stuff. So
Mhm.
it's good to see that. So. But,
Good stuff.
Yeah, and then there's the Mike guy who's
That guy, one mic,
That
one
guy.
game.
That's slacker, man.
Still stuck on one game.
So while we're waiting for the next call, it was interesting. Is last night Boardlandia
Oh yeah,
had their ding and dent sale, and I had never done that before.
that was the first I'd ever heard of it.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it before, but never done it. Right?
Mm-mm.
And then Mike posted in Discord. Oh, there we go.
How'd it call coming?
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Jim from Florida.
Hey,
Hello, Mr. Odak.
James Odak. How are you?
Alrighty, how you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good. Thursday night.
Yeah. Hey, that Underdark game sounds pretty interesting. We should play it Saturday.
Oh yeah, yeah. We
that's a
definitely
good
can.
one.
I know Dan has a copy over at your turn. We're doing our monthly, officially second Saturday meetup, but it's on the third Saturday because we did it that way. But anyway, I know Dan, owner.
Second non-holiday Saturday.
There you go, not holiday Saturday. But Dan loves the game, so he's got a copy or two probably laying around over there at the shop. But so if not, I can bring mine for sure. But I know I'm going to bring Orleans. I'm going to bring probably a couple of others, but I can definitely add Tyrants to the
It plays
lineup.
quick enough. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a 30. There's no way that hits an hour most times.
Yeah, it's usually done in under an hour.
Yeah.
So what do you got
Yeah,
going on?
I'm playing, teaching Ankh early on.
That's right. I remember you posted
noon
that.
on Saturday after that. Yeah.
Cool.
Still looking for 2 more players if everybody's interested.
Fortunately, I won't get there till
In fact,
about
I think
1.
it's your.
I think I got rid of my
somebody
copy
bought
of
Carlos's.
right? Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, that's who I'm teaching.
You're teaching with
person
his
you sold
with
it
Carlos's
to.
copy?
I think I'm gonna use my copy only because Dan painted my Guardians, and I kind of want to show them off.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I haven't seen those. I don't think. I
He
don't
did it.
think
He
I.
did
Okay, yeah,
I haven't had it out yet since he's painted them.
nice. I say usually I can peek at some of the stuff
He did
he's working on, but I don't think I saw those.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job on them, so I really want to get him out and play.
He painted my Skaven, which is a rat team for Blood Bowl, and it's still the best painted thing I have. It's
Oh, yeah.
the best painted thing I own.
He did Jim's Dune
Dune
figures
Imperium,
too, and they
yeah.
look, I'm like, oh,
They were
I
nice.
kind of want to.
It was right when he opened up and COVID hit and shut him down. So he was looking for stuff to do. So I was like, hey, can I commission you for a paint job? But I don't have a lot of money. Can I get like the base level stuff? And then it shows up and I'm like, bro, I said like the base level stuff. This is
Couple steps
amazing.
up, yeah.
I really wish I could paint like.
I just can't.
So what time did you say you're running that Ankh game?
Noon.
At noon. Okay. I'm going to be there at 11.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make some changes and some arrangements. I'm going to be there at the open. I'm going to be there at the close. I have an eye appointment I forgot about that I'm supposed to be at 2:45. So I'm going to have to leave around 2 if I have to do that. But I'm going to see if I can get that changed. But I've played Ankh with you at least once, maybe twice before. But if you're...
I think once, yeah.
Was it just once? Okay. So, but yeah, we need to get some people in that game, get that game filled up.
Rob's gonna come in, eyes all dilated and pupils big.
Yeah. Where's that on?
Can't
Where's the
read
Ankh game?
nothing.
Anyway, but so you do you scrap the Great Wall? I know you were looking for people to try to play the Great Wall.
I still want to play the Great Wall, but I love Ankh. It's one of my
Okay.
top favorite games of all time, and it's just struggle to sometimes get people.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
it's,
you're newer to gaming though,
I think
right?
a specific taste.
Yeah, I haven't played that. I haven't
I
played
think-
Ankh yet. That's the one. That's the third of the 3 games, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rising Sun, Blood
Blood
Rage, and
Rage.
Ankh.
Blood Rage. Yeah. Rising Sun and then Ankh.
Blood
Yep.
Rage. We're talking about playing Rising Sun tomorrow night.
Oh, really? Who's
Yeah,
that?
Sam's heading over to me and Sam over at the Tampa Gaming Guild.
Okay, I was going to say at the Tampa Gaming
Nice.
Guild. Yeah.
It's between Mosaic and Rising Sun.
Oh, man, for me it
There's
would
a
be Mosaic.
strange-
I like both, but Mosaic for sure for me.
I don't think Rising Sun would make my top 20, and Mosaic is currently sitting at 6.
Yeah. I think I'd have to agree, but yeah.
Yeah.
Still good games, though.
Ankh
They're
is my
both
favorite of
No,
those
good
3.
games.
I do.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said Ankh is your favorite of the
Uh,
3. Why is that? What makes Ankh better than Blood Rage?
Well,
and
I don't like Blood Rage as much because of the randomness of the cards. The cards, I think, control too much of the game.
But you draft him.
I like the game. I play it. Well, yeah, but you still whoever gets some of the more powerful ones first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't like that much randomness of it. I like Rising Sun is my second favorite. That one I think though is a little too much negotiating in that game.
I love the battle mechanic, that whole hidden bidding on what you're
Yeah.
going to do and then revealing. Yeah, I love that part of it.
Did not like that one
Did
bit.
not like
It's a very
that?
cool game.
And I guess it's kind of like Cry Havoc.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it never worked out for me.
Oh, I like it.
I could never get a battle to work out in my
Outthink your
favor.
opponent. Outthink your opponent.
Yeah.
And then Rising Sun.
And I like the mechanic in Rising Sun with the tiles, and everybody does something to some extent, which is I think is very similar to the Rising to the Great Wall. So,
Yeah. That's cool.
but Onk's my favorite because I like the asymmetry of the different gods, but the battle aspect, everybody's got the same set of cards that you got to kind of use the strategy of how to manipulate those.
Yeah, looking at what somebody's already played,
I don't
what
know.
they've got left. Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like
A lot of people
Sans
don't like the merger.
Kemet?
Yeah,
Kemet is what I'm thinking of.
Kemet.
Kemet has a similar
Kemet is-
mechanism.
I always call Kemet Onk-lite.
Yeah, they got some similarities. There's definitely
with the card play
some differences. Yeah.
almost like Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea also has a similar mechanism to that. You all have the same hand-ish of cards that you're going to play. The question is when you play your cards and which ones are available at the time of the battle, and try to figure that out.
yeah.
And so, Jim, you were just about to mention the merge thing. I think that's the biggest criticism of the game, but it sounds to me like you're going to tell us why you like it.
I kind of, the first time I played it, I was kind of like, of course, I was the one to merge. I didn't like it, and the thing that's always funny about that is about 75% of the time the merge team ends up winning, but you don't feel so satisfied about it. But now that I played it, I'm used to it, and I kind of know how to play with it. I kind of like that aspect just because it's different, right? Because sometimes you start out a game and things don't go your way, and you're on the bottom. And at least that gives you a chance if you can get over the fact that you're not playing by yourself anymore. It gives you a chance to still be competitive in the game.
Okay.
But yeah, it does turn a lot of people off, and sometimes the first time you get hit with it, it's depressing, but if you can get over it, there's a lot of power in having that
All right, you're
merge team.
not going to sell me on a game where one of the keys is depressing.
You suck.
This game came out in 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it came out before the.
That's what I was-
pandemic.
I think I got my copy
When we were looking it up, I actually had to click on a couple different things because I didn't think that was right either. So
at the retreat. I think I got my copy at the retreat.
was it?
In 2021, though, everything was still like locked down. I remember people. That can't be 2020.
No, it was the first time that Dice Tower got back together. It was the retreat of 2022, which I think would have been. No, that would have been 2021 November. November 2021 was when the retreat happened, right?
Yeah, it
Rob?
would have been November. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so November 2020, I got my
I didn't
copy
think
in
it had the retreat
exchange.
then at 2021. I thought everything was still kind of. Or maybe they.
No, that was their first
the
event
first one
getting back together.
Back together.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Wow. This game feels like it's came out a lot longer ago. than,
Time. I feel like
feels
time
like
is
it.
warped ever since COVID.
Everything I'm off by like a year or two because I really thought this came out before 2020. I would have sworn this was like a.
I don't know.
2019
This
game.
theme just didn't do it for me at all. Like the Viking theme, I can get into. The Rising Sun theme, I can get into, except for the combat mechanism and the whole pairing up Tea Party thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a teacup Tea Party guy.
Yeah. I've played the game 3 times. I've never been part of the merge, but I just don't like the idea that I could be part of the merge. I guess there's one of the back of the book has different scenarios, and you can play different ones, and one of them is a non-merge scenario, and I've heard people are happy with the game playing.
And there's also a scenario that there's a double merge. You got to play 5 players,
Ugh.
and the bottom 4 each merge into 2 different. So I played that once. That was actually kind of cool.
Oh, yeah?
I also wrote my own alternate play to the merge, calling instead of the last 2 teams doing the merge, they do an alliance, and I posted it on BGG and got some pretty decent responses to it. But I haven't yet been able to play it out and try it.
Nice.
Cool. I gotta throw in the one thing I don't like about the game is the action board thing. I guess it says actions at the top. I have been 2 by 3 plays. I feel like I've really been either because of my turn order or where I was seated that everybody always got to push. You get a bonus for pushing one of these tokens here off the end and resetting it, and I always feel like somehow I get the seating position where everybody gets to trigger those right before I do, and then I'm always the one having to start all of them at the beginning of the track again, and I don't ever get to take advantage of that. So.
Always a bridesmaid.
And that's a big piece of this game is what I call turn manipulation.
Yep.
Right. That's probably one of the strongest strategies of this game is trying to get yourself into position to
Trigger that bonus.
be able to do that bonus of those end of tracks.
See, but I can see controlling the pace in a game when you're talking about maybe 2, maybe 3 players.
Yeah.
But when you're at 5 players, you're not controlling the pace of anything.
Yeah, it feels like
and that's what.
Go ahead.
And that's the power of the merge, because once you get the merge, depending on where you seat, now you got 2 people working together to take advantage of that turn manipulation to get it. So that merge team is always going to get that bonus. And a lot of that is lost because the initial response to merging is usually not positive, especially for new players.
Yeah, I agree. I generally like the game. I definitely like the look of the game. We're seeing here some of the pictures.
Things are cool, man.
Yeah, the aesthetics and the minis are awesome.
I got to take a picture of Dan's minis that he painted and probably put them on those on BGG.
Oh yeah, for sure. But so it's been a game that I've shied away. I know you've asked. Again, we played it once together, and I know you ask a lot. I know this is one of your favorites. And I'll admit I try to duck out of it a little bit to some extent. Although I'm always there. When we need another player, I'm always there to round out the total. But this is what of the 3, I think it's my least favorite. I think Blood Rage is probably still my favorite, and then this one I think I put 3rd. But.
Yeah, I think of the 3, my favorite is still Clash of Cultures.
Oh, yeah. Get out of here with that. Anyway.
I mean, all 3 of them have that like not direct strategy path, right? Where it's not about winning battles; it's about scoring points.
Right. Yeah.
Which could be by losing battles.
Exactly.
And
Blood
all
Rage
3 of them
especially.
kind of have that similar.
Yeah. Agreed. Anything else this weekend you're looking to try to get played?
Probably not looking to get this played yet, but can you bring up? I got Hegemony came in today.
Oh yeah, I can bring up a picture of that. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about this. I'm telling. I got to tell you, just before you start, the more I'm hearing about this, I don't know that I'm going to love it. But go ahead and tell us what you're thinking so far.
I don't know. So I read through the rules real quick and kind of scoped through the game, and my initial gut feel is it's root with political in a political world.
Yeah.
It's 4 different
factions,
which are working class, middle class, corporation, and the state. And they're all completely different aspects of the game. Like they play completely differently.
Highly asymmetrical, yeah.
But like a lot like Root. How Root is, right? Because all the factions and I can't remember the right term. I do like politically themed games. I like that part of it. So I'm going to want to try it eventually. But it is pretty
4.0 on the weight scale. Ooh,
oh, jeez.
That's a heavy one.
It's a heavy game.
You know, if BGG is rated a 4, the thing is like,
right.
There's the skew there. So, damn, that's heavy. Okay,
Tim,
I
2024.
want to give it a try sometime, but I don't know if it's going to be a popular game to play.
I tell you what, I'll give it a shot because I like political games. And I like so I definitely would try it just because it intrigues me. I mean, I've played Democker before, and so that's trying to learn German while playing a game is always fun.
This is not a pretty game. I've never seen a picture of this that I've thought, whoa, that game looks pretty to play. But yeah, it's not about pretty. It's about the mechanisms in this one.
What is there about politics that is pretty, right?
Yeah. Well said. Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely. So it's 90 to 180 minutes. I'm gonna say it's more like 180 to 240.
It says it's 45 per player is what it says on the box.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was going on the Maury show, and test shows that was a lie.
Yeah, exactly.
What's interesting is it does come with Automa decks for 3 of the players. So I mean, it's fully capable of solo, and then the Automa. The advanced rules for the Automa, and they even call it AI for the Automa.
Yeah.
My brain hurts just thinking about running 3 different AI.
Yeah.
3 different
players.
AIs in a game that's
So asymmetrical.
already a 4.0.
It's already a
weight.
4.
It's already
Yeah.
so asymmetrical, so you got to figure out what each one's trying to do. So yeah.
I don't know, and that's a valid point because a lot of the gaming that I do, these heavier games at least, I rely a lot on the other players at the table to help me through. Right, like I'm maybe understanding a quarter of the rules, but I'll know if I get something wrong. Someone at the table says, "Oh, you can't do that," or "You have to do it this way." But if you're running 4 at a 4.0 weight, you plus 3 players, it's just chaos.
Yeah. Look at that shot. I mean, there's a lot going on that board. Holy mackerel. Well, yeah, I mean, the idea is really awesome. I mean, I know you got the working class. So the working class is fighting to make their products worth more so that they can sell them to make money. They're trying to keep taxes low. They're trying to influence the government to pass bills and stuff that's in their favor. You've got the upper class. I don't know what they call the classes, but there's one that's kind of the richer class. They're trying to corporations. There you go. So yeah, they got their objectives. They're trying to do. You've got the government. The government is scored by keeping everybody in balance. They score more points by keeping the working class and the upper class, and then whatever the fourth faction is, they want their scores to all end close to each other, and that's how they get their multipliers for their points. So they're trying not to let anything get out of whack. They're keeping everything balanced.
That's hard.
I mean, there's a lot going on in this game. It sounds like Yeah,
Sounds cool though.
Sounds
Is
interesting.
there an anarchist class?
I don't know. Jim can remind us what the 4 classes were, but yeah.
Working class, middle class, corporation, and the state.
There you go. And they've all got different objectives. Again, pretty true to life. And supposedly, from what I've heard, they interviewed hundreds of economists, government officials, people from heads of corporations. And supposedly, the game is extremely accurate. It's extremely
I'm in.
what modern day
Like Wayne and I are in on this.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm saying. Like this is definitely the kind of game that like a young government society or like the high school kids that go to DC, they're playing this game.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yep. There's lots of
Kind of
tracks. and
simulate that out.
Lots of little. These aren't quite cubes. These are little cylinders, but there's lots of little cylinders on tracks and stuff you're moving around.
Now, what's going to
so-
happen when we create like a free trade zone in my house in the sit-in and a Chaz?
Yeah.
And
So here you got your fiscal policy track, you've got your market track, your taxation track, your healthcare and benefits track, and your education track. And so those are the ones you're trying to balance out depending on which faction you are. You're trying to push those up and down. And
I like it.
So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's definitely got to be immigration track. I can't see what that other one is. You got your imports, your exports. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. It sound interesting. I mean, I was a business major, so I mean, a lot of it appeals to me as well. This is a lot of stuff that kind of going back to college. So
I wouldn't mind working out of time to give this a shot. Jim, if you
not
wanna,
even like a full game, just kind of like because you got to get that first on these 4.0 games. You got to give it that
Play like an
first
hour.
blush
Yeah.
of like, hey, we're gonna commit to kind of going through a few turns,
learning it.
just learn it.
Yeah, and it's 2 to 4 players. So what's the play time? 90 to 180 minutes is what it says here.
Lies.
2 to 4 players. Yeah, I'm feeling it. That's twice that much.
Yeah.
But yeah. Looks
45
interesting.
minutes per player.
Yeah, there you go.
Keep us posted on when you get that one to the table, sir.
Yeah, a few weeks or a month or so. Somewhere. Basically, what I do to learn a game is I set it up and I try to play all 4 players myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not to win, just to kind of go through all the steps.
Couple turns and figure it out. I love the it's weight of 4.0, right? So BGG, we know that's skewed, right? It's heavier than that probably.
4.01.
4.01, yeah.
That 100.
Age 14 plus.
Yeah.
I don't know many
14-year-olds are going to jump into this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, it's a thing. Yeah. All right, Jim.
That's cool, man. That looks
Wrapping
cool.
up. Anything else you're got going on?
No, that's about it.
Okay. Well, definitely
Looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you.
forward to
It sounds like you're going to be gaming more than one night. It sounds like, but yeah, Saturday I'll like I said, I'm trying to be there all day, so I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm hoping to get this appointment rescheduled. I hate to run out in the middle and then have to come back. That just kind of breaks things up. But either way, I'll be there at open and close. So
Your eyesight matters, Robert. It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's what they
week or
keep
two
telling me.
eyesight.
Yeah,
I'll see
I can
tomorrow.
reschedule this a month out. That's fine.
Just
yeah.
pay Jim to read for you.
Yeah, there you go. He can read the rules. Yeah.
Well, when you get back, we'll play games with big pieces.
There you go. There you
Haba.
go. I
Anything
like
haba.
Abba.
All right, Jim. Well,
Take
appreciate
care,
you
buddy.
calling. Have a good night.
Thanks, Jim. Have a good one.
Take it easy.
That's it.
We had a text that came through, actually a voicemail that came through, so I read the text version of it. Chris Graffiti had called in while the phone line was
okay,
booked up, but he said he had wanted, and I told him to call back, and then because the phone line's open, and then Jim called
in. If Chris is still
Perfect.
listening, hopefully he can call in. We'd like to talk to
his
Chris.
his topic of choice was, and I love it because the voicemail says Chris Graffiti.
I see that.
Scuffidi. Designer.
Co-designer now of the expansion for Tapestry.
Tapestry.
Tapestry. Yeah.
But he said he wanted to chat about the Dungeons and Dragons movie and stuff.
Oh yeah, we said we were
Okay.
going to talk about that tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
Michael, you seen the Dungeons and Dragons movie yet?
I still have not seen it. I want to,
Okay.
though.
Yeah.
Around the board,
start out.
what are your thoughts, gentlemen? We three saw it.
It was better than it had any right to be. Like, no, I'm serious. Like, first of all, D&D doesn't have a good history.
I'll say,
of
look
good
at what you have to
movies.
compare it to.
Yeah, I mean,
but
you
yeah.
have the original D&D movie, and you have the animated Dragonlance movie, which was a disaster. They haven't had a good track record. And let's talk about, I mean, like the D&D-esque movies from like the 70s, 80s, and whatever, the Conans and the Beastmasters. They're not what I'd call great movies. They're great. I love watching them left and right. But and then this movie got delayed, like 3 times?
Yes.
Oh, did it? I didn't even know that.
This movie was supposed to come out like right around the start of the pandemic, and then it got kicked and pushed and redone a bit. So like, it just, everything about this said train wreck, right? And then of course, I always get turned off when a trailer plays like classic rock music, or you start
Trying to be Marvel.
trying to be Marvel-ish. And it's like, okay, you're a D&D movie. Where's that Lord of the Rings type music, right? Versus, okay, now you're playing like AC/DC and like, Led Zeppelin. But then that first trailer was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. So yeah, this movie was far better than I expected it to be. It was B+.
But was it good?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was good, very good. And I'll say, and I don't want to talk too long because I could talk forever. I want these guys to talk too.
Give us a chance.
Yeah, no, I'd say, because the way I described it is it does enough fan service to the 30-plus year D&D player in me, where I dug it. My wife, who plays a million RPGs but is not a huge D&D fan and always plays the bard, she dug it. And then my 9-year-old kid, who's never played D&D, loved it. So like, it had everything. It got everything for the whole family, which was cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
my 11-year-old liked it a lot. I don't have nearly the background in D&D as at least these two guys. I don't know about you, Mike, if you've got it much.
Not much,
No. Okay.
no.
Yeah, I don't either, and I enjoyed. My 11-year-old loved it. He thought it was great. I gave it a pretty high rating. I don't know if we'll rate them here at the end in our opinions on it, but I liked it. It was better than I was expecting for sure. I saw the last one, however many years ago that was, and so this wasn't
Early 2000,
20 years ago.
I wasn't setting a
22.
very high bar to overcome. So this one was definitely better. I had decent expectations going into it, and it slightly surpassed my fairly high expectations. So yeah, I enjoyed it. And I could feel that there were references in it that I wasn't getting. I was like, oh, I probably should know what that thing is. I don't, but it's a dragon. It's a thing. So why is the dragon fat? I don't know, but it's a fat dragon. So there was probably something to
There
that.
is something to it.
I
There's a
don't
whole
know.
background story. The Fat Dragon has a whole background.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's from a module.
Is it?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Oh,
But
that's
it
awesome.
was a fun time. It had good humor. There was some funny moments. Like I said, there was some stuff that was definitely over my head, but it was enjoyable. It was a fun ride.
Yeah. The Fat Dragon is, I don't know the exact details because it's been a long time since I read it, but basically it's like the goblins or drow or whoever in that area, they don't really have the dragon as a prisoner, but they basically feed the dragon and they overfeed it, and then they use the dragon uses its flame to keep the forges going. So it's kind of like a mutually beneficial. They just keep feeding it all the shit that they catch.
Wow.
all the adventures that go in the Underdark that they catch, they just feed it to the dragon. So that's why the dragon's like fat.
I like that.
It's kind of cool, yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
enjoyed the movie more than I expected I would. My son wanted to see it. I was excited because it's D&D to begin with, but I had all the concerns that Wayne had as I saw previews for it, as I saw trailers coming out. I just felt like they were really pushing the comedic aspect of it, and I thought, oh crap, there's going to be a Wayne's brother in this one, I bet. Like a Marlon Wayans or something, just to try to add that, really force that funny factor.
Right.
But I think they were able to capture the feeling I have when I play D&D with my
I
friends.
had the whole party. Yeah.
Yes, and it felt like the humor was more natural, like the kind of jokes we would cut on a game night versus forcing the humor. I guess the one thing that I would say, okay, let me stay on things I like. Let me keep my mind going. What else did I like? I liked how it felt like an adventure module. It felt like there were encounters, and then each encounter led to a necessity for either an item or a bit of information or a person in order to complete the adventure. So you would go on that side quest to go do that, and the side quests were hilarious. They were awesome.
The 5 questions of the Raised Dead, like ask
ask
questions of the dead.
yeah, that was
And how
hilarious.
many times would a GM screw you over? And be, oh, you asked a question.
Yeah.
No, I didn't ask a question. Did I ask a question? Yeah, you asked a question.
Another question.
Like that whole thing.
That bit was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like. You had this overarching bad guy, so you knew the strategy, the arch of the game.
Yeah, it was straightforward.
But then you had to hit all those side quests in order to complete that to be able to do the big adventure, and that was like spot on what D&D feels like in a campaign.
It did. It was a game session that was made into a movie. It had great throwbacks to the Forgotten Realms, like all, and then I like just the visualization of spells and the things that they did. You could see in that last battle, there was Magic Missile, there was Dispel, there was Blur, there was this, and the Displacer Beast, and
that was cool.
Gelatinous Cube, and the
Mimic.
The Mimic. Mm-hmm. It was all perfect. It all looked great. And then you missed it. You guys never saw the original 1980s cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like giddy like a 10-year-old kid on Christmas. And I'm like, oh my God.
That supposedly was the big thing. I
it
kept seeing in the things
so
that
good.
was like the high point of the movie.
For a lot,
I was like,
okay. For old school D&D guys, that 1980s cartoon.
I
is
watched
such a
that
throwback.
cartoon every Saturday morning, and that's
they
probably
have-
like my strongest tie to D&D was watching those cartoons.
It's a
and
fantastic cartoon.
oh, they're
so they have
great.
those characters do a live action cameo in there for like
Right.
30 seconds or
Are
maybe
you
a couple
serious?
minutes, maybe.
Yeah, so at the end of the movie, they're
Spoiler alert, everybody.
whatever. It's been out for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, you should have seen it by now.
There's photos all over.
Shut it off, shut it down.
Yeah. There's photos all over the place online, though. It's all. I
Oh,
knew
see,
they
I
were-
haven't seen anything, but
Oh,
go
I
ahead.
saw-
Yeah, go for it.
I've seen
Go for it.
photos before I even saw the movie. I saw that there was a photo, so I was looking for it.
Well, they're in there.
They're in there.
That's
Yeah,
good
but
enough to know,
they're going through a maze, and you can see they're another adventure group in the same maze, and they come across them a couple times. It's like,
And I thought it was like the adventurers from Gauntlet, the video game.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I had no idea.
So
Yeah.
the little kid was like the. Did they have like a really short guy playing the dungeon master? Was
They
he
didn't
in
have a
it?
Dungeon
No, it
Master
was just the
character. It was
group.
just the group.
Oh,
of
okay. So
visitors.
like Eric and
They had the Cavalier and
the Cavalier.
and the Barbarian and the Acrobat.
the little kids, the barbarian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Might
man,
as well go
that's
out and
so
watch it now.
slick.
Yeah, it was really cool. They did a good job of it.
That's awesome.
And now they're canon, so you could I could bring back that commercial.
Thanks for moving that a little closer, Carlos.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
saw
see.
Rob
I was just
trying to
trying
look. You should go to the eye doctor.
I was scrolling through these, though. I got to just point out. So Josh says, my opinion, not a great movie, but very fun. He says, I expected magic, swords, and weird monsters. I got magic, axes, and weird monsters.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Not much swords.
Yeah, okay.
You have a barbarian. She can use an axe.
Ron says, very funny, very fun. Fantasy action comedy. Don't need to know the lore to enjoy it.
That's true.
So,
yeah, it's really just added bonus for lore.
Yeah, and he said kind of like seeing a D&D session, but only in character stuff. So, yeah. Oh, and then let's see, Jim's just chimed in here. The post-credit scene with the dead guy waiting for the last question. Oh, yeah.
Way to ruin that one.
Yeah, spoiler.
That was awesome.
That was
Out for
funny,
3
though.
weeks now.
Yeah, that was good.
I think we're past 3 weeks past.
The
Well,
threshold. Yeah.
apparently it did because everybody stopped watching and the movie tanked.
Oh, did it really?
Oh, it
Wow,
tanked
that's
hard.
Really?
Fell off hard?
It
Wow.
fell
all
off
movies
hard.
Fall off hard, and but it beat John Wick 3 or 4.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it made
I
more
still need
money
to go
opening
see
weekend.
Wick. I still need
I
to
haven't
see
seen it
Wick.
yet.
Made more money than that, and then
I think the one thing that was lacking for D&D, real quick as we wrap up that one, for me was I've never been a fan of the Bard character. I think I was talking to Wayne about this one a little bit. I've never played a Bard, never had any interest in it. I just didn't understand how a Bard would fit into the D&D world. You know, you got to loot, bro. It's like a guitar, like a
Easy
Magic
now.
Boot, though. You can cast
Hey.
spells with it, man.
You could, right? That's what I kept hearing. Like, hey, watch out. But then I watched the movie and the main character's a
Yeah.
bard, and all he ever does is hit somebody with it.
No.
That's it. He just kind of hit somebody with the
No,
loot.
I would agree. I mean, like my wife plays the bard, in she always plays a bard when we play D&D, and she plays well, right? Useful character, whatever. But yeah, his character was not really a bard. He was just kind of Chris Pine and
and a guitar.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
Yeah.
the
I really wanted to see, like, I wanted to understand
yeah,
better,
more of it.
How a bard
you know,
works.
the artsy people that do the bard thing.
Yeah, well, I tell you, like he's kind of like a thief, roguish bardy type thing.
That's what I would always play. I always pick the thief any RPG
me
I
too.
ever
Yeah,
play.
Yeah, me too.
I was always the paladin or the cleric.
I think really the movie tanked second week because last week was the Mario movie.
Oh, that could be that.
So it came out, beats John Wick, and then Easter weekend,
Yeah.
Mario
with
movie,
kids,
which
yeah.
like everybody saw the Mario movie, you know, or not Mario, yeah, Mario,
Super Mario,
Brothers,
yeah.
Mario?
Mario.
yeah,
Mario.
Mario.
You can tell he's from New York.
They say different up there in New York. Mario.
I don't need no
Mario.
fingers.
It's me, Mario.
It's me,
no,
Mario.
But before we forget, while we're waiting for another call, Carlos, you still need to put Tyrants in the Underdark on your big board.
Oh, I
let's
haven't
do
even done
real
that.
quick.
I think there'll be a sequel to this, the D&D movie.
I hope. I
hope
hope
so.
it made
I
enough
hope so.
money.
It'll
I
make
agree.
it's already made enough money.
My worry with the delays was that they were spending too much money.
On
Right.
marketing and stuff. Yeah.
And well, not just that, in redoing stuff, right? And so then it's going to put it deeper in the hole, which means they're not going to do it again. Like I felt like they just needed to do it quick and easy, and just make a little money off of it,
But now
not overdo it.
You can go anywhere in the Forgotten Realms now. So
All right, well, on the board here, quick rundown of where I'm at. My number 1 is Brass Birmingham. Number 2 is Castles of Burgundy. Number 3 is Cascadia. Number 4 is Crusaders. Number 5 is Viticulture. Number 6 is Mosaic. And I'm holding in my hands Tyrants of the Underdark, and this is where I start thinking.
Where's it going?
Right, number 6 is Mosaic. I do not believe Tyrants is more of a favorite game for me than Mosaic. I just don't.
I've got Mosaic just above it on my board.
Do you too? And then I hit Concordia, and I just love the theme of ancient.
Trading in the
You know,
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean.
Yes, I do.
Everybody loves that theme.
And I don't know, as a Christian, we do a lot of Bible reading of that time period. So when I see, the island of Crete on the map and we're working around it, or the shipping from Italy into, Phoenicia and
Messina.
right,
Exciting stuff,
all,
man.
It's all the same stuff that I'm reading at Sunday school, right?
Gets me excited.
It's
So
that
what's
theme hits
dropping
me.
off? What's dropping off your list?
Welcome to.
Welcome
is
to,
currently at the
okay.
bottom. It's dropping off. So I'm currently at 6 Mosaic, looking at Concordia and thinking I'm struggling. I'm looking at Gizmos and I'm like, Tyrant's better than Gizmos, definitely. So Gizmos is coming down to 9. The question is, does Concordia move down? And I don't think that I've had enough plays of Concordia to say that I like it better than Tyrants.
Good
So
man.
it's
Good
going to hit
man.
my number 7 spot.
Behind
Tyrants
Mosaic?
of the Underdark, just behind Mosaic. I've had plenty of plays of Mosaic. I think more plays of Mosaic than Tyrants at this point. So that gives you my top 10 right now. Brass Birmingham, Castles of Burgundy, Cascadia, Crusaders, that will be done. Viticulture, Mosaic, Tyrants of the Underdark at number 7. Number 8, Concordia. Number 9, Gizmos. Number 10, Lost Ruins of Arnak. Robert's number 1 is Brass Birmingham. Number 2, Orleans. Number 3, Blood Rage, where it belongs, well above Rising Sun, above
I agree.
Ankh.
I agree.
Okay, Jim,
Sorry, Jim.
you're
All right,
wrong.
gatekeeper.
Mosaic at number 4. Rob's number 5 is Tyrants of the Underdark. Number 6 is Thunder Alley. Number 7 is Sunsettle. Number 8 is Trojan. Number 9 is Tapestry, and his number 10 is Res Arcana. Those are our top 20 games played in 2023.
I'm surprised this beat out Thunder Alley for you,
Robert?
For me, yeah, it was tough. Actually, when I announced it, and then when I put it up there, I don't know if people caught, but Wayne had to catch me. I actually put it on the board right under Thunder Alley.
Freudian slip.
And then he was like,
Freudian.
hold on, you said above Thunder Alley. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I said that. I better stick with it. So I
could go
stuck it up there.
back if
I
you
mean,
wanted.
they're close.
Thunder Alley
The
requires.
show's
more
not
people.
over yet.
Yeah, you're right. I can still amend.
I think the difference. I really like Thunder Alley, but I think the Tyrants playing 2, 3, 4
Yeah.
is you're gonna get it to the
It's gonna be to the table a lot more.
than Thunder Alley.
Yeah, I agree. So that's but they're very close, and they actually timeline wise, those two games were very popular in our game circle at the same time.
Yes.
Those two, and then Ethnos is the other one that jumps in my mind. Around that same time period, we played a lot of Ethnos, a lot of Thunder Alley, and a lot of Tyrants around that same time period. So good old days. It brings back good memories.
And Thunder Alley hit hard during that time period in the con space.
Oh, yeah.
The convention space, because
Yeah.
it was such a great, large player base.
Yeah.
How many? 8 was it?
It's 8. Yeah, I think
Eight. But then it really hit hard at COVID times. Don't be afraid to crack that open,
just
sir.
trying to be nice.
It's after hours. We're cracking,
We're after 10.
cracking some
Beverages.
some beverages, libations. But it really hit hard in 2020 during COVID. When we did the online leagues on TTS, like just getting together
Yeah,
once a week
that
for
was
a
fun.
race for 6 weeks.
Little tournament we did. Yeah.
when
man.
everybody was locked up.
Michael was in on that, right?
I was in on the second season.
Second season,
Red,
that's right. You made
red
one of the
team,
seasons.
I
right?
thought
Oh,
we're
man.
trying to do another season of that.
We're supposed to do it at your turn. Dan
Oh,
had
in person.
planned it,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
person. That made it tougher. But I actually introduced the idea to him. I was like, "Well, what are your thoughts on hosting an online one?" And he really liked the idea. So he said that when they redo it, we just didn't get enough people to sign up for it. But he said that they may do it online next time instead.
TTS?
So yeah, on TTS.
Well,
so,
let me know because I would
Yeah.
definitely
I'd be
join
down
in
for
on
that.
that
Oh,
one.
good.
I would
Well,
try
then,
to go to
yeah.
in person, but I think it was Tuesdays, and that was like soccer season.
Yeah,
so
it was
now
tough.
soccer season's over, and I could probably do it, but I have to like
Yeah, I think
online. I'd be down in a
I
heartbeat.
think he's definitely planning to do it online next time. So I asked him, again, there's some logistics on that, on how you'd organize it, how you'd run it, how you'd monitor prizes and stuff like that. So I think that was the biggest thing in his mind was, well, if we got people from different states and then we're offering prize money and kind of, what are the legalities of all that? But yeah.
Hey, DraftKings, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Is it on BGA?
no, it's
No, it's
no,
not.
uh-uh.
It's TTS only.
TTS only.
It'd be great if it was like if it was automated more, where you could just like click your car, give it the path, and then it pulls all the other cars with you. Or
That would be.
That'd be
You know.
crazy. Yeah, crazy good.
that'd be really nice. If
We
it
had
did that.
we did really well. We had.
Oh
like,
yeah, we all
had it
helped
down
out
pat.
on moving
We had our
cars.
system down. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just saw little cursors flying, and the
Yeah.
cars just moving and
That's
flipping.
true.
And
Take turns, you, me,
you know,
you, me, you,
I'll
me.
throw the tire tokens, and everybody's just pitching in. It worked out, and there were people who just didn't know how to manage the TTS system well,
Yeah.
kinda
and they just sat back.
Yeah.
I
And
want to do this, and you guys
We
do
just did it
Yeah.
for them. It was
Yeah.
great.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
good
Thunder
series.
Alley's good. I'm surprised Tyrants went above Thunder Alley.
All right, now y'all give me crap. Now I gotta think about it. Both of you,
You can
give me-
still change it.
Yeah, I'll think about it. It might change before the end of the session.
But man, Tyrants played fast.
yeah,
We played it real quick.
yeah, that was a teaching game, and we
And I
played
think it was a teaching game, but I mean, I've played a ton of games. Like
Yeah,
DC
yeah.
Deck Builder, like that's you could, go through that pretty quick.
Do that again.
You could. I was wondering what that was.
That's true. That's how I felt too.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. Anyway,
What do you got topic wise out of Seattle for us, Mike?
Nothing really. I just the only games that I think I played since the last time we were on was I taught Nakosu dice to another gaming group here, and that
Trick taking dice game we talked about.
trick taking dice game. It went really well. They picked up on it pretty quick, and it's funny that the same group, they've never played. And again, this is like a group that they're really not. They're not heavy Euro. I'm the one that's introducing them to like the hobby and stuff. So I broke out Time Stories with them again. And there was 4 of them, so I was just kind of like acting as like the GM or whatever, just kind of like running everything and explaining stuff. And that was like another hit too. I know we've played those games a lot, or we're kind of they're like older games, like Time Stories. But to see the enjoyment on their face when they actually realize, like, oh, this is a pretty slick game. This is really interesting. And so those were really the only 2 games. But man, no Kosu dice. That's like creeping up my list, man. Of
well, yeah, I know
good
you've been
games to
posting about
play.
it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Time Stories is a good one. I still never finished that last scenario. I got to get that last scenario played. But that's a good game, and I would enjoy, I think, teaching that to a new group and seeing people respond or react to that system the first time they play it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I want to play that with other people. I played once,
Yeah,
never
Yeah.
really did more than that, but
it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
other game I played, I got Beast to the Table, which is the hidden
Oh,
movement
nice.
game that just delivered the
Did you figure out the
Kickstarter.
sleeves?
I just ended up using Sleeve Kings. Screw it,
Mm.
and I
Smart man.
kind of cut into the plastic insert and made everything fit a lot easier to make it easier to set up and stuff and put away. But play with a gaming group like guys that are into heavier games, and I think we got a couple of things wrong. Everybody seemed they enjoyed it, but I think it just took longer than what we were planning on because we kept referencing the rule book to make sure we were doing things right, and even then I think we got a couple of things wrong. The rule book probably needs to be tweaked slightly, so I watched a playthrough on YouTube, and I'm hoping to get it to the table again this weekend to give it another legitimate go. But
Are you generally a fan of hidden movement? Is that a strong?
yeah,
Mechanism for you?
and the other hidden movement, Fury of Dracula was a decent game. It just took forever to finish playing, and I think the last time I played it, it might have been either at a dice tower it was when my son Mason was at. It was I can't remember if it was like Escape Winter or Dice Tower East, but we finished the game and Mason, my son Mason, he looked at me. He's like, "I don't ever want to play that game again." And I was like,
really?
"Yeah, I think I'm kind of over that game now." And I ended up selling my copy when we got back in the town. So.
Wow.
I do enjoy hidden movement games because I like the puzzle of trying to figure out, regardless of what side you're on, if you're trying to figure out where the hidden movement guy is, it's like, okay, you're going through your mind like, well, we know he was here and then he took 2 steps and then he could have gone this way or this way. And the same thing is like, I was playing the Beast when we were playing Beast. So the only time that you really expose yourself is when you pop up and you attack like an animal or attack a villager or something. So there's this mind game that you're trying to play with people where you're just trying to slip past them and then like make a run for it. And I enjoy that part of it. That's like, for me, that's like the enjoyment of the hidden movement game is, trying to outsmart the other person. So, but yeah, I thought it was good. I definitely want to get it to the table again though.
Looking at my list, I'm trying to remember. I own one of the popular ones. It's the kind of the futuristic tech
Spectre Ops.
Spectre Ops, that's it.
That's the one we played.
Yeah, I that supposedly is one of the better ones, and I've played that, and I've played Fury of Dracula a couple times, and
I finally got a copy of Fury Dracula,
like Fury
but I haven't played it yet.
that mechanism hasn't really caught on with me. I don't know. I got to find the right game, I guess. But
I find
you
it
tried-
stressful.
yeah.
But that stress that's the good point of the game, though.
Is that the good
point-
stress?
Yeah,
Is that-
Yeah.
if you say
Okay.
so.
I love
Have you
playing
tried mind management?
I have not. I keep looking at that when I go into Barnes and Noble. They've always got that one in there, and I'm always like, I really want to try that one. But
Dan's
I know
got a copy.
Dan
Dan knows how to play. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I need to go over there and try it out.
Yeah. That one's a good one too.
There's a stress to those games that's fun, though.
Jim Odak says he forgot to bring up Revive. Very
Oh,
cool
Oh
game.
yeah, Revive.
I know Rob, so I guess he got to play Revive. I know Rob, you've been looking at that one.
I wanted to. Yeah, it's a Euro-y game. Lots of things going on in that one too. But yeah, that one looks like fun. I guess if I remember correctly, you're trying to I won't say populate. You're trying to revive the Earth. Yeah, revive. After I think it's post-apocalyptic, if I remember.
Nice.
And
Right
so-
up Mike's alley.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
There you
why
go.
that's why I mentioned that. And I noticed Dan's selling a whole bunch of games. He's selling the 51st State Master Set for was it $30 or $40?
I'm sorry,
I couldn't
what?
believe it. Yeah. So,
All right.
Oh
So
man,
maybe
Carlos.
I'll have a couple less beers and walk away with that.
a copy of that.
He actually did. He had the Star Wars Queen's Gambit that he's selling.
Oh, is he selling
It's
that?
on the list.
Oh,
It's on the list?
I inventoried that for him. I wonder what he's selling it for. Holy man.
That's what I. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
That's what he's selling it for, but it was on the list.
That's
Probably
going-
more than $35.
That's going for $200 or $300 or $400 usually.
Now, when you say he's selling, what is he doing? Is he liquidating part of his
He's
collection?
going from like 3,500 games to like 2,500 games.
yeah, he said he's still well over 2,000 after
Yeah.
the liquidation. But yeah, he posted up a list of.
I went through the whole thing with a pretty good fine tooth comb, and I could see why you would want to. I mean, there's
This
a
for
lot
the
of,
flea market,
Yeah,
right?
for the flea market. A lot of the games are games that like nobody's gonna play.
Yeah, it's a
really.
couple hundred games. Most of them I had not heard of, but yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
couple-
stuff like Gloomhaven. That stuff's crap.
Yeah, that's
That's
crap.
crap.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And here, Mike, I hear you. So to finish the story from Boardlandia, you're now in the market to buy the Lord of the Rings LCD.
Oh
game.
yeah. Somebody accidentally ended up with a copy of the expansion.
Yeah, you started the conversation about that Boardlandia thing. Michael, tell us about that Boardlandia event.
I'll
and
let
what-
Wayne finish the story. He started it. Go for it, man.
I'm gonna do a couple more, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you because I think you get. So I'm on Discord last night, and he pops in that hey, the board game Landia is having this board game sale. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, it's dent and scratch stuff. You can go to the website, YouTube, and they're gonna have these lots. So they'll put up a game. It's worth this. You put I want it, and there'll be like 500 people say they want it, and they'll just pick somebody random, and you get to buy it.
And they do this like once a month, once every 3 or
they're
4
gonna do it
weeks,
again in
something like
a
that.
couple of weeks. Yeah, they're doing it again. They're doing it twice this month. And it was fun because you have all these people trying to buy games. But the best part was Dan, me, Mike, and Rob in the Discord chat. I'm in on this one. I'm passing.
pass
this
on that
game
one.
sucks.
That
Yeah,
And we
then,
were on there for a while.
There was
yeah.
one that Rob was like, "Oh, that's a really good game," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm in." And they said, "But then after I bid on the
That's
on
the
the lot,
expansion. It was
then they go,
Aquatica.
That's the expansion.
It was
I'm
the expansion
like,
to
now it's
Aquatica.
coming.
I was like, Aquatica's a great game. And he's like, oh, I'm bidding on it. And I'm like, oh, no, that's the expansion. Oh,
That happened to me because of Nick Oben.
oh yeah.
That
yeah.
Sovereign
yeah.
Skies
Sovereign
game.
Skies, yeah.
I saw it for $15, bought it, and found out it was the expansion. So I had to go spend another $35
Lord
to
of the
get the
Rings
base
LCG
game.
box. The Lord of the Rings LCG box comes up like retails $80-something for like 30. And
This is like one of their big box
Yeah, go for it.
expansions
You
that
take
they're
over now,
doing
Mike.
now. Yeah, so I was like, oh, sweet, man. I've always wanted to play Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I knew it was the expansion, but I was just kind of like, for $20, you know, I'm in on it. You know, you don't care if the box is dented because you're just going to take all the cards out anyway and throw them in another box, right? And then they had 2 copies of it. And yeah, I ended up winning the copy. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to have to buy the base core game now.
That's great.
Wasn't planning on
It was
necessarily having to
pretty
do
cool.
that.
They had
Yeah.
you know, they had Long Shot the Dice game, a copy. They had
Really hard to
like,
find right now.
They had like
Yeah.
you know they had 40 lots of, and in some lots they had 2 or 3 copies, and some lots they'd have 1 copy.
Yeah.
And then they had like 3 or 4 just giveaways where like
Yeah.
Yeah, they do giveaways
Guild
every
versus
time.
Explorers they just gave away that someone could win. And it's kind of cool.
I wonder if I could do that like with other things in my life. If I like tell my wife, "Hey, listen, I bought the front left tire for a Ford Mustang.
Not gonna buy the other the rest of the car.
Now I got to buy the rest of the car."
Doesn't quite work that way.
It was definitely a pretty fun experience, and there was like 600 people watching, so your chances of winning are not super.
It's
big.
so slim. And I was telling them, like, the only other time that I ever won, because I've been on there all the time, you know, just, you know, when you're working, you're, oh, yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'll put my, you know, I'll put my bid in or whatever. The only other thing that I ever won was an expansion for Arkham Horror, the living card game. So it's like, I guess these card games are like
find
my
their way to
hits.
you.
They had a bunch of mini packs and like
Yeah,
rain
they had some
packs
cool
and
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was well worth the. I think what made it the most fun, it was like, I don't know, it was like an hour and a half
Hanging
last
out.
night, just hanging, like watching it while we were talking in Discord. So I think
Yeah.
like that should be a thing. Like the next time they do
Yeah.
it is like just, it was worth it.
Get all the beans and dice people on there and
Yeah.
just
Y'all
chat
should
about
just
it.
like
So-
throw a
Diego
live
was in the
stream up
chat,
while you're
too.
doing it.
Yeah, Diego was in
the
there.
chat.
Yeah, he jumped in for a
was
bit.
jumping in. It was fun. You
Yeah.
know, those are the kind of stuff that like you go, I'm not really doing anything but just sitting here putzing around the house and watching that. Okay, that was entertaining. You know, that was
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
good like quasi-human interaction.
Yeah, it was
I like
fun.
it. I like that
It was
method.
fun.
I've heard of this before, where people sell stuff in bidding format on, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff that people just
Yeah.
bid on
Yeah.
on live chat and live video, and people just love to tune into that stuff and just bid on crap.
Yeah.
So
They had the I guess the owner of or one of the owners, she was doing the bidding, and she must not be a big Star Wars
Oh
fan.
yeah, she couldn't pronounce Coruscant.
she said croissant.
She kept saying croissant. Yeah. So he was in there chatting like this
Buttery
this,
pastry.
This woman, yeah.
like, how do you
take
not
away
know
her
how to
nerd
say
card?
that?
How can she own a board game store and not know how to say
I
Coruscant?
don't, yeah, that was a joke. But yeah, it was funny because it was like this whole expansion to Coruscant, whatever, one of the LCGs or something, and they had it was good.
It was fun.
It was
yeah,
definitely
it was a
pretty
good
fun.
time. Yeah.
Other games played for us. I know we just talked to West Coast Beans and Dice West Coast.
Yeah.
Over here, we threw in a quick copy or a quick play of Biblios. So Wayne got his first try of Biblios. Biblios is currently sitting at number 16 on my top 20 list.
Yeah,
I don't see it on Rob's.
Going on my buy list.
It didn't make it on your list, did it, Rob?
No, not quite. Yeah, here's a copy. You can't see it real great because the camera's a little far away. But
There you go. How about that?
yeah, it's better.
There you
Yeah.
go. Biblios.
There you go, Biblios.
It's a light-ish 2 to 4 player bidding game where you're trying to collect sets of cards in order to gain power on 5 different colors. The point values of each color is represented by a die that can be modified up and down. You have 2 phases of the game. The first phase is the gifting phase, where you draw cards and decide whether to keep, put it up for auction later, or to give it away to the other players. And then after that deck is run through and gifted, you take that deck of auction cards that remains, and then you bid them out, auction them out, one at a time for gold cards that you have in your hand in order to try to fill in the remainder of your sets in order to get your control of a set. It's a lovely title. Robert and I've loved it. It's on
Lots
my
of
top
plays.
20.
Yeah, lots of plays.
But we'll get Wayne's thoughts on Biblios in here in just a moment here. Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name, where you're calling from.
Hello, happy Thursday. Good evening, gentlemen. This is Nick from Western Chat.
It's the Oben. How are you?
Nick.
Hello. Ask us a question.
Access.
Hey, there it is. There it is. Yes. Well, yeah, actually, it was really good. No, I know I'm calling in late. We had a late night, and actually we were hanging out after But finally, played Mosaic. We did
saw
play.
that.
Oh, snap.
It is achievement unlocked after the unboxing from like 3 weeks ago or whatever. Actually, finally played it. Not surprisingly, very much enjoyed it. I like how on your turn there's multiple kind of fun small actions you can take, small steps towards a bigger goal.
Yep.
And I like how it's fairly easy to establish a 2 or 3 turn plan. Like, okay, I want to build this thing. So to do that, I need population, and to do that, I need to work food. Okay, so my next 3 turns are work food, get population, build city. Got it.
And the turns are
I like that.
so quick, it doesn't allow you time to forget what you want to do most of the time.
Right. And they can be quick because you really do have. It does a nice job at no one action is actually that long or heavy or can really do that much for you. It's all part of a small steps towards a bigger play.
Yep.
And so it's quick. Yeah, it's great. I will say, none of y'all were after 10 o'clock, so I can cuss at you, but I won't.
You could.
But none of y'all fools warned me about the setup. The setup.
Setup is a pain. Like you beat me almost on time with that. Anyway, yep.
It was. I don't know that I have seen a more obnoxious effing setup in a game.
Yeah.
How many decks do I need to cut in half and then shuffle a scoring card into the bottom? Oh, except the technology deck. Because the technology is different. You got to do 3 piles and shuffle it into the middle one based on player count. It is the middle or the bottom. And then, if that wasn't enough, setting up the 4 separate decks correctly.
Yeah.
Then I got a hand place something like 75 little tokens in the right. Only to then remove.
This is awesome.
To then remove like 30 of them that have a little X on it. Like, you gotta be shitting me.
Hey, Nick, I really think you need to just really open up and tell us how you
really feel about it.
Yeah.
I was just pointing on the big board here to Orleans. Orleans is my number 2 game on the big board, and that one will rival Mosaic for setup. But go ahead, you're on a roll with Mosaic.
No, I was livid at the rule book for telling me to hand place those 75 trade good tokens.
And a third of them are a waste of time. Yeah.
Flip them over and then remove half of them.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh,
I
man.
kept asking William. I kept saying, William, why are we putting them face down? Just put them face up as we go. He goes, well, the rule book says you put them face down, and then you flip them all up.
over.
But why?
Orleans does the same exact thing. I don't want to sidetrack it, but Orleans, you place all those on that sideboard, you place them all face down, and then everybody has to go through and flip them all face up. So
Why just not put?
Is there a randomization to it?
It's the randomness. Yeah.
You place them all down, then remove some, then flip them up, so you don't know.
Yeah. It's so that you can't plan and somebody can't
Well,
go, all right, I want this over here and that over there and
At
that
least
over
when
there.
the 4 of us played it, there were 4 of us doing setup. I can
Yeah.
imagine, Nick, you played this with your boys, so it was probably just you setting it up, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I will say for the removal of the X's, and actually I did figure that out because I did at least read a little ahead and had watched the video, so I was aware of what was going to happen. You're going to put the tokens out and then remove the ones that have the X's. So what I did is I had all of the trade good tokens in a big bag, and I would just eyeball like the next 4 spots I was going to put down. And I would just grab 4 tokens out of the bag and put them down 1, 2, 3, 4, not caring face up or not, right? Because in my head, I had already randomized it by picking the 4 spots and then just reaching into the bag and picking out 4 tokens in a
I
stack.
put a bag in the box for that specific reason. If you just throw them in an opaque sack or container, you can just put them face up. You don't need to do the whole everything goes face down.
As long as you have a pattern up top to bottom, left to right. Yeah.
Or just Put them down.
What's
that allowed me.
that there and that there? But go ahead. Yeah.
And a tip for you folks at home, there's a question mark. One of the tokens is a question mark that is not supposed to be placed with everything else. That is specifically saved, set aside for a
Special
tech.
card, yeah.
There's a tech that gives you a wild.
Oh, we played that wrong, and then I was confused because the tech. Yeah, so I did not see. I did not see anywhere in the rulebook where it said to put it off to the side. So it was there on the board like any other thing. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Oh, there are a couple of things about this rulebook that I think were as well produced. We'll say this game is. One thing that really pissed me off, unlike the setup, which I'm really happy about, was the clarifications, and you can hear in my voice that I'm doing air quotes. The clarifications of all of the cards in the back of the rulebook that literally, word for word,
said the same thing as the card did. Yeah. Oh yeah.
What the actual F? Like why?
Man, Nick is sounding like me when I get pissed off.
Nick is a little inebriated from that strike. Yeah. He's ready to go.
I'm good to go. No, I'm telling you, it's really, I enjoyed the game, but this setup, and what's funny is I really was, and it was all in good humor. I was actually like muttering under my breath, "Frickin' Robin Carlos."
Well, I think that's sort of indicative of big box Kickstarters. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to set it up. The rulebook is not going to be as professionally rated out and understandable as it should be.
Yeah,
and I think that's always a downside of some of these newer companies or big companies that are putting out these huge productions. There's just always like little stuff that's going to get missed.
And the rulebook was not great. It really was not. It feels all over the place in a sense. Like it just didn't have a flow. It didn't have a method. Right, a methodology of how it was laid out.
I didn't get into that. Yeah.
Like you don't read rule books; you just watch videos.
Watch videos. Yeah. Bonus for watching video.
But no, it was good. Yeah, the reference sheets were helpful. That was good. Reference cards were good. The game took up quite a bit of space. You start building that tableau.
Oh yeah.
So I liked that, and I didn't see that coming. I actually. Hadn't really watched a ton of videos or really talked much about the game. Every time I saw it set up at a game day, I didn't jump into the game, and so I didn't just sit there and watch you guys play for an hour. So like I didn't realize the symbology building. Looking for the tags and stuff like a Terraforming Mars or any of those.
Yep.
I liked that a lot. That was really cool. I liked that a lot. That system. So the game itself is great. I mean, huge fan, big fun. I think what surprised me, the reason I didn't see the setup coming is because, Carlos, you mentioned how you played this game like 3 times in a week or something. Did you break it down and set it up each time? Or
I think it was 6 times in a 7-day period.
Monster.
And after we played, so when we were done, while she was putting kids to bed and getting stuff ready, I was re-racking. So that the next day, because I learned that from you, Mr. Oben, with your 365 challenge, is set it up the night before.
Yeah.
Set it up the night before and figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah. The game, I've only played it the one time. I really enjoyed it. It was a great game. Huge table hog. With Nick's point, though, is like that the tags and tracking tags and some of that. Oh, that's so like that was the least. You have 30 cards at the end of the game. You're like, okay, let me count this again, and oh crap, I lost my spot again. Let me recount again.
Rob's like, oh, I finally got 6 military tags. I'm like, oh wait, I think I have 10.
Yeah, I had 10
just
a
never
while ago.
looked.
I just didn't look.
Like there should be like a little way to like not have to worry about keeping those cards and just stack them and have like a little.
There is. There's a upgrade on the most recent crowdfunding game where there's a player board the size of a book, like an 8.5 by 11 size player board, but it has dials for each tag.
Yep.
Okay.
So as you gain cards, the ones that have no more benefits.
They borrowed that, I think, from what's that card crafting game where you're sleeving the cards.
Mystic Veil?
Mystic Veil.
I know a guy who did a video on our channel of that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
An unboxing.
Good
Yeah.
old
Mike
Hated
Lorenzo,
every
Mike, one
freaking
game.
minute of it.
Yeah.
Or at least by the time I got to the last expansion. Jesus, criminy, man.
We got
Oh,
Nick's,
remember
Nick's
that?
epic
There's
2000.
so many boxes.
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Go ahead, Nick.
I was just saying, I remember that video. There were so many boxes. It was
Yes.
Yes.
But so we all love the 2001 Space Odyssey intro unboxing of this game, Nick. I think you need to do a follow-up video.
Well, yeah, you
of
got to
setup.
You got a challenge out there from one Mr. Mitchell.
We got to figure out what song fits with the setup.
It's gonna be good. I got you. Challenge accepted. It's coming.
Okay.
I need to get the gameplay, but no, I think it's all figured out. I don't want to do too much spoilers, but I have another bigger box that I can open and challenge Mitchell to find a smaller box that he can open. We'll just keep going. It'll be great. But, that'll be good. Fun.
Well, Carlos is getting ready to pull up a video here. It's going to... there we go.
Oh, you get.
Oh, there I
I
am.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you can see us. Carlos is pulling up one mic, one game's a review that he did on the channel here of the
You'll
old
have a
Mystic Vale.
history of crazy unboxings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike's
I don't know
Mike's
what-
published a few good ones,
This was pretty funny.
unboxing wise.
This was a good
I
one.
think I still love.
Yeah.
My favorite is twice as clever or oh so clever.
Oh, yeah.
His video of that one.
Yeah,
good
that was a little
times.
bit more of an ASMR one. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. Yes.
There I am, clipping the meeples.
Clipping the meeples off of the Mystic Vale. Yeah. That's good stuff.
All right, so you got to play it.
Awesome.
You talked about a
Yeah.
lot of stuff about setup. You talked about the componentry. What about mechanics and gameplay?
We say loved it.
I liked it a lot. Actually, on the components, I will say I was worried about the military units. We talked about that, how you use the cardboard tiles because it's just easier to see these units. This is how many units I have in the stack or
It's okay.
whatever.
Tell him he's wrong.
We did. We did find at a 3-player count at least, none of the regions it never became a problem.
Agreed.
We were able to pretty easily tell, okay, I can see your 4 infantry and my 2 cavalry and 1 infantry, and even if it was twice that number, there was room by the board or in like the dead space of the map that we were able to keep it pretty tight. So, and then at that point, I liked the minis on the map. I will say that keeping track of my population on my player board with minis was a little extra, especially when I will say I did not like that a small version of the mini is 1 and a slightly larger version of the mini is 5, right? Or 3, or I think it's 5. And then you really have to look. Like there were a couple of times where with the boys, I mean, I looked and I took the time to look, but there were a couple of times where I was like, hey, Landis, you grabbed a big one instead of a little one.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, oops. Because I mean, the difference is readily apparent if you hold them up next to
Right.
each other.
Right.
But if you just got a pile of minis in front of you and you just yoink one, you can grab the wrong one pretty easily. So
Yeah.
I don't love that. I also just now I'm being a lot pretentious, I guess. It's just not clever, right? Like a smaller version of the mini is 1 and a bigger version is 5. Like, why don't you make a different mini that looks
Yeah.
like a group of dudes, right? Like
Yeah.
that should be. If you want to present 5 cavalry, then have a group of 5 cavalry dudes, or whatever.
All sitting on each other's shoulders or something. Yeah.
I'm with.
The Master Blaster?
Something like
But I'm with Nick though. I think that was my only complaint, even of the crazy big
Yeah.
Will's version was like I'm not missing buildings and not being able to tell them apart too easily, and then that 1 and 3 and 5 thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's just overproduction
Now,
without thinking about differentiation.
I will say that probably thus ends my bitch session about the game that I did like a lot.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
Mosaic
that's
is a good game.
That's a good game.
The gameplay is great. Yeah, I opened with that. The turns are downright fun. On your turn, you've got probably 2 or 3 of the 8 actions that are legitimately like, oh, this is going to be great. This is good.
Yep.
And it's easy to come to one of them as a decision, and then you do it, and like, okay, next turn, boom. So that was great. We did run into a little bit of the management of things like you guys mentioned. How many tags do you have? How many whatever. But that's fine. And I will say the you get an appreciation for the digital implementation of board games. This is one that would do probably really well in a digital implementation because all of that would just be taken care of.
Happen
right?
for you.
Like,
Yeah.
As soon as someone hit 6 of the building tag, they would just get the 6-point golden age thing, right? Boom.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I will say, and this is weird, as weird as it sounds, having played on BGA so much, it has actually had the reverse effect of training me to be aware that there is a condition that I always need to be checking for as if I'm the game.
I agree.
I'm the game, right? So, like, especially when I'm playing with my boys, I assume the role of the computer, and I'm like always monitoring, like, okay, are any of these conditions met? Boom, 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 and feeling like the game needs to run itself in that way.
I've done that a couple of times now with different games. It's interesting that you bring that up. I mean, it's a whole other topic, and we got 15 minutes left in the show, so I don't want to run too long. But I've done that a couple times now where I've gone to teach games live in person that I've only played on BGA, and I'm like, once I start trying to teach it, even if I played the game 7, 8, 9, 10 times on BGA, I'm like, holy crap, I don't really know how to play this game in person because I don't know exactly what triggers that to do the thing, to take the thing or whatever. Yeah, because it just does it automatically for me. I'm like, I don't know this game nearly as well as I thought I did, even though I played on BGA and I do pretty well at it. I win a decent amount of times. I don't think I could teach this. So, yeah, it's strange. It's a weird feeling. It's like, I think I know this game really well. You know what? I don't really know exactly all the inner workings of what happens when you do this or when you do that. So, yeah. Yeah.
In particular, I have found the setup, right? Because the BGA handles 100% of the setup, right? It's just done. Like, boom. So things like this game, Mosaic, I say it'd be a good BGA implementation. Yeah, because then you don't have to do managing 4 decks, putting the right card in the right spot on all 4 decks and all those tiles and stuff. And I can imagine a world, fast forward a year from now, maybe there is a Mosaic implementation. If someone has played Mosaic on BGA only 5 times in a row, if they, God help them, go to set the game up themselves manually, they'll be like, no.
Lost. Yeah.
Even worse than me.
And it reminds me of Tzolk'in. I taught Tzolk'in not too long ago, and I'd only played it ever on BGA. And the guy started asking me questions, and I was like, you know what? I don't know what triggers that. I don't know how you get that thing. I just played on BGA, and I know if I do a thing, it comes to me, and I get it. So,
and because we know of your fear of seeing the eye doctor, you just won't pick up the rule book because you can't see it.
No rule books for me. Yeah. I'll watch a video. Roddy's got a video on that.
Hey, Nick, let me ask you, also a fan of TI4, one of the greatest games ever, which I need to get played this year so I can put it up high on my board. What'd you feel about the objectives for Mosaic all being face up, turn 1, turn 0, before the game started? You can see all the objectives.
Best part of the game, but go ahead.
What'd you think of that compared to like Twilight Imperium 4th Edition and the new game that's being thrown all over the internet right now, where the objectives are 1 face up, and each turn you reveal more objectives as you go? That Skyfall game, that Starlight, Starfall. Anyways, the difference between having objectives revealed as the game goes or having all objectives in your face, turn 1. What do you think?
No, I like it. So what I did personally when playing this game, there's 9 out of the 15, right? You know, the civilization achievements, right? Those guys, or whatever they were called. And there's like 15 of them total, but you pick 9 to include in any given game, so there's some variability. Then partnered up or along with I think it's also 9. It was 7, or maybe there's only 7. There's 7
it's
Golden
9.
Age cards.
All the 9 tags.
It's 999. Yeah, okay, it's 999. Yeah, so there's 9 wonders, 9 Golden Ages, and 9 civilization achievements.
Slow down there, Germany. 999.
I saw the achievements, so the public objectives you're talking about, and the Golden Age as effectively 18 public objectives, right? And that number is large enough, and the action count, 8 different actions I can take on my turn, is big enough that while everything was public, there was so much opportunity in a 3-player game especially that it didn't feel like any one player was stuck going after an objective or this one or that one. So I liked, I guess what I'm saying is it still felt like the world is your oyster. There's 18 different ways of scoring points right in front of you from the start, and you can do whatever you want. And I thought that was cool. That was neat. It let me do the thing of like, all right, I'm going to establish a long-term strategy. Let's say you one of the objectives was have all of your port towns built, and another one was I think when you build a port town, you might get tariff as well or something. I was able to combo a couple of things where like building the thing gave me the production, like tariff production I needed, because it was one of them was you got that 12 tariff production, and I forget what, and then the manufacturing town, whatever. Anyway, point is I was able to establish a strategy by seeing all of the possibilities up front, and I did like that because then it helped make my turns a little snappier. Like, okay, this is what I'm doing for the next like 4 turns. I'm just marching towards that one right there. But as I marched towards that one right there, Landis would march towards another one, and it became this fun, like if we ever did pick the same one, it was a race.
Yes.
But it wasn't so tight of a race because there's like 18 different ways of scoring 6 to 12 points, right? Depending on which one you get, or 6 points. They're all worth like 6 pretty much, right? So I don't know. I like it in this style game where you've got 8 different actions on your turn you could take, but the beauty is daisy chaining them over the course of 3 to 6 turns to march towards that next kind of stepping stone, and you can plan that out and whatnot. Now, that being said, I love TI4 and the way it does it. Now, TI4 moves so much slower.
Oh yeah.
Not in a bad way, right?
Yeah, maybe.
It is. It is. I mean, it certainly takes longer, and your turns are heavier. And in that world, part of the cadence of the game is there is a very clear setup. You know, the beginning phase of the game takes a while, and then you're in the mid game, and it takes a while, and then you're in the end game, and it can take a while. It's just much more of a plotting cadence.
2 hours
As
later.
As opposed to Mosaic, you really could kind of like start pushing the envelope on some of those objectives as quickly as you can afford to. You know, there definitely is a beginning game where your production is low across the board. Your actions are only so good.
It's trying to grab tech cards, trying to get tags, trying to start building that engine. I found the
like
plethora of options to be stressful
In Mosaic?
in Mosaic. All those civilization achievements out there, it just felt like I didn't know which one to focus
Just
on.
gotta pick one and go for it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what
but that's
you-
the problem is because it's a race, unlike TI4, we can all each get the objective.
Right.
As they're revealed.
Everybody gets a prize.
Right. So it may take you 2 turns, it may take me 3, but I'm still going to score it.
Yeah.
In Mosaic, I don't know what you're going for.
those are great decisions.
No, but
When
you
do I
And if
give
we
it?
go
When
for
do I
the
give
same
up?
one and you beat me to
Yeah,
it,
when do I give up?
But
When do
you
I-
can kind of see fairly early, like, okay,
he's building a stone
he's
production.
going, like, in the game we played, you and William were going military.
Yeah.
I saw Rob was going one thing, so I said, I'm just going to focus on this. Like, you have to just find. Same thing with the Paleo Americans. Like, you know, there's a ton to do, but you can't do it all. So just in the first turn or two, figure out what other people are going for, and then find out what they're not, and
Do something different.
Do something different. You know,
Yeah.
you just got to find that niche.
I felt that added stress.
Yeah.
Not a bad stress, but
Yeah,
it added
it's a good-
stress.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Although, so I'm taking for granted, I guess, that first step of reducing the 18 public objectives down to like the 4 that you think you want to get after first, right? That first step is very important, and you need to do it, and you need to look at the board and see, all right, what can I go for? Like maybe you're playing as the artist, right, as your leader, so you're going to start with that art tag, and maybe in that opening draft, I really liked the 5 tech opening starting technology draft. That was good.
Yeah, that's fun.
But though it did come.
Except for Wayne. Wayne didn't enjoy that. Wayne didn't draft any food production, so he was kind of pissed off and a little bitter for the first half of the game.
Yeah, a little bit. I definitely was. I was salty. I screwed up. I was mostly salty myself because I just forgot that. Oh shit! In the Civilization game, you needed to have food. I'm starved.
It's funny because I wonder if different. We actually had this conversation too. If different tables will just play it a little differently. We, all three of us, me and both boys, kept our civilizations lean. Like, at no time did any of us have more than 4 populations. And we would then just burn down the population to build cities or whatever.
Oh.
And, as we need them,
Open
we're
houses
all right, crap,
dictatorships.
Seriously.
Yeah, see, I've seen a lot of diversity in that. The games I've played, some people have almost none. Some people have 10. They're just.
I don't want to get rid of my
Right.
population.
Yeah.
I use them for
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. For production.
And that's the thing. The thing is, it wasn't until I looked a little more carefully at the wonders. So I started, that's one thing, Carlos, is I'm focusing on the 18 objectives. Then there were the 9 wonders. I did ignore them early game because they take a lot of resources, and I kind of accepted them as more of a mid-game thing. Okay, when I have a ton of stone and extra food, maybe. But it wasn't until I looked at them more carefully that I saw one of them is you get a point for every 2 population at the end of the game. And that's when I realized, I guess one of the strategies of this game is having 20 population. I guess
Working
that's
your
a thing.
people, yeah.
Because other wonders are worth 8 to 12 points. And so for that one wonder, which is 1 point for every 2 populations, you need to be sitting on 20 people at the end of the game to make this worth it. And it's okay, I guess that could be a viable strategy because, like you said, that then your work action becomes great, really powerful, right?
And
so
I don't know
work action,
I don't know about the folks here, but most of the games that I've played, the spread at the top, maybe 10 points ish.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
What about you, Nick? 10-point spread at the top.
really, we were, it was nice and tight. I don't know what good scores are. I was just over 200, and the boys were both in the high 180s. So yeah, same thing what you just described. 15, 20 points.
Carter's is checking his point
sure.
spread on his last game.
I guess my best score is 248. I'm averaging 199. So that's about right. But that matters. So these 6-point achievements, they matter.
Yeah.
Your wonders, they matter. So it's a very tight. This is a good game.
Yeah.
Melissa asked me what I want to play this weekend at game day, and I'm like, if I'm able to go, because I got to work in the morning. If I'm able to go, I want to play Mosaic.
While we were talking about it, I was like, crap, now I want to play Mosaic again. It's a good game.
I can bring my copy and try to get there 3 hours early to set it up.
At
you go.
least 3 hours. Yeah.
Get there, set it up so we can be ready to play by 6. Yeah.
Exactly. Actually, I know we're getting up on time here, but since you mentioned that, all 3 kids and I should be there this Saturday.
Cool.
For game day, so looking forward to that. Maybe I really will bring my copy of Mosaic, and we'll just have a couple copies going.
Yeah.
I know mine's coming with me. I don't care if I play 2-player.
So Dan's got it at the shop, so yeah, the cafe.
I'm looking forward to get some tamales at the little Mexican joint right down the street.
Yeah.
And, so I know Rob's planning on getting there about open.
Yep.
I'm going to be there about 1. Give or take 10, 15 minutes probably, but
2 to 3, probably 3 o'clock, 2 to 3 o'clock for me.
Yeah, I'll be early afternoon as well. Landis has baseball 10 a.m. game, so we'll be coming after that.
Nice.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Well, look
All
forward
right, you
to
guys, hey, thanks for the night call.
Look forward to seeing you. Thanks for calling in. Have a good evening.
Hey, we're here to let you vent about your setup.
Yeah.
I'll charge you. I'll send you the bill for the
Send
therapy.
you the bill for therapy.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, Oben.
See ya, man.
You just see you can see Nick setting up the game and then realize and then stepping outside, yelling at the goats. Goat scream.
Ghost yelling back.
Don't scream at him.
What was that? Thor, the most recent one.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that was Thor. Yes, we actually had a conversation about that one the other day at your turn about how bad that movie was.
Oh god, that movie was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I want to touch on Biblios because Carlos brought it up earlier, and he mentioned that it's not on my list, and so that's got me thinking. And it will not make my list. It's a great game. I was telling Wayne because I was selling him on it tonight.
really good. I
That
like
we
it.
played this game a lot. Carlos and I have played this at the roller rink. We've played this at I think Universal Studios. We've taken it with us because you can leave the board out of it. It's just the dice and the cards once you know how to play it, and you can take
Played
it
it at a food court in Atlanta.
In Atlanta for Dragon Con, I think, or something. So yeah, we've played this game all over the place. But when I look at my list, I just don't see it. Again, this list is getting hard to get onto the list. And some of these classic games that I really, really enjoy. I mean, this game is great. It's quick. We played it at the roller rink. We could reset it 2, 3, 4 times while we're watching the kids skate at the roller
We
rink.
taught it to some dads.
Yep, just not too long ago.
I've one play of it, and I'm like, it's a buy.
It's an extremely solid game. I would say it's a buy. It's definitely a buy.
I'm gonna try to
I'd
pick up a
recommend
copy.
it.
I don't know if it'll make my top 20 list of the year, but it's going to be on my
Yeah,
list.
just because it doesn't make my top 20, doesn't mean. And Carlos has got it. What you've
16.
16. So 16. So it's on his list. It's in a fairly firm position. I mean, I think as we rank some more games, it'll probably eventually fall off. But I would definitely recommend it. I'd say everybody should try it, but it's just not quite gonna make my list.
It's definitely going to be a buy for me. I'm going to look to pick because of the portability.
Yeah, I'm sure it's inexpensive.
I know my game group likes the bidding auctioning games, so it's going to be a hit with them. But again, I don't know, solid, but not quite maybe top 20 because there's some great games on the list.
Yep. Carlos, since you played it again, is it going to move around on your list?
Oh yeah, you can re-rank it if you want.
adjust it.
Yeah. Oh,
See, it's just okay. So Ethnos is at 15, Biblios is at 16, Tapestry is at 17, and I kind of feel like that's a sandwich. That's a good sandwich. Like that's where it kind of belongs. Like
Okay.
Ethnos, Biblios is good. It's small, it's compact, but man, Ethnos is just fun. Like I can't wait for them to redo it and give it some life again. Ethnos is good. It's great set collection.
I like Ethnos a lot.
Yep. And then after that, it gets into some really good stuff. Shogun, Radlands, Furnace, and Biblios is just not going to live in that world. So I think that's about 16 is about as high as Biblios is going to get.
We've probably asked this before, but Wayne, have you played Ethnos with us?
Not with you guys. No,
You played it before though.
at Dragon Con probably a couple years ago.
Solid game.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
Good.
game. Yeah.
Palamori.
I think that's on BGA now, isn't it?
Good question.
Haven't seen it. Oh, I was going to mention we were talking about BGA earlier. Architects. We talked about this earlier, but I've got to get into a game of Architects. I was going to mention that with Nick. I know Nick actually taught me Architects at his place after a Gloomhaven session. We broke that out and played it, and
I'll set up a game.
really
We can get it
solid.
going. You got crushed me because I'm learning.
I've only played it once.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, so,
Architects?
yeah.
Architects of the
Architects of the West Kingdom.
West Kingdom. Okay.
Yeah, that's was it Palamori?
no.
That's,
the-
no, Palamori's
it's,
the other one. I got the name stuck in
Shem.
my head.
Shem
Shem
Phillips?
Phillips.
Garfield.
Yes.
Yeah.
Garfield.
Garfield.
Yeah.
Garfield games.
Yeah, Garfield. Yeah.
Garfield.
Yep.
Very cool.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a lot of good games. BGA is really starting to get. I mean, they got Earth.
Yeah.
They got Arc Nova.
Yep.
Champions of Midgard. That's what I was thinking of. Champions of Midgard.
Oh, yeah.
Good one.
Champions of Midgard. They're getting a lot of the bigger games.
A lot of hot games on there,
Yeah.
and Earth coming out so quickly after the release, like immediately.
Yeah.
After it was released in retail and then coming out on BGA, it's got me thinking good thoughts about BGA Board Game Arena for you at
Yeah.
home. But yeah, I mean that's I think they're doing good things, and I think they're progressing, and I assume becoming more popular because they're getting these games quick. So
Yeah.
I know I renewed my membership, and we're looking at getting a second one for the house.
nice
That way, more games can be played and set up separately.
electronically. Yeah, cool.
You get your membership, Rob?
I did, and actually a couple people commented because I just did it a few days ago. But again, it was because I earned enough points by
Points.
playing games to get another free membership. So the 2 memberships I've had, the 2 30-day memberships, have both been because I played enough games, got enough points.
I have. I probably have. I have a ton of those points now.
That's funny.
Yeah, I probably should go.
It's like $30. It's kind of worth it.
Yeah, just get it
Although,
done.
but
Yeah.
to valid point, you have enough of us on the forums that set up games.
Yeah,
Those-
it's
Yeah.
like I don't feel compelled to because I can
Yeah.
always jump into games.
Yeah,
you guys are always
you guys-
posting stuff, so yeah.
I
I'm
feel like
cheap.
I'm at the computer for 9+ hours, and like sitting in front of a computer again. It's like,
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you came over today, Wayne. Thank you for coming and playing in
Thanks.
person.
It's good to get back.
You
It's been a
know,
while
we
since
got to
I've been
order
here.
pizza again. We got to have
Yeah.
some beers. We got to play some games on the table. This
Yep.
felt good.
I like it. It did.
We keep saying this, but for those of you that keep track with the channel, we are planning to try to set up something, especially since Carlos has redone his setup here, to get some actual either live plays in or some more reviews, some recorded plays that we can just get stuff on the channel. So hopefully we're going to diversify our content a little bit and branch out into a few new things here in the near future. So I know we've said that on and off over the years, and just life stuff has come up, and
Feels like, committing to just that Thursday every Thursday.
yeah.
That's been an achievement on its own.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to keep that going.
I'd like to shout out Nick and Mitchell for doing their own videos and submitting them. So, I'm maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I'm sure you guys would love any
already said it
members of the
before.
community just do some stuff and submit it out. And
Record something.
I've always said that.
Record it, send it to Carlos. He'll get it posted up there. Yeah.
It's what we do. It's us how we game. It's our game group here in Tampa, Lutz, and also Seattle.
in Louisiana.
In Louisiana,
Louisiana,
right?
yeah.
We got Kyle in Chicago. Our little Beans and Dice group has grown. We got Getty up in
Pittsburgh,
Boston.
or Boston, yeah, that's
Yep.
right.
We got the Ant Lab groups over in Pennsylvania. Our friends up there. So it's been a blast. So another Thursday night in the can. Got another great show. We did it. We'll do it again next week. Hopefully, either get some games in beforehand or get a video recorded.
Yeah,
I know.
nice.
I know that's Rob's thing. Like that's what he wants to do. So Rob, you set it up for Thursday pre-show. What
set
you
it
want to
up
record?
at your house.
What we're
Yep.
playing. So,
Yep.
yeah.
That too.
You got the setup here, so yeah, we could.
I just wanted to have fun today and just
Yeah, that's
play.
good. Yeah,
it worked
yeah,
out good.
Yeah, we'll start hitting record and doing some more stuff hopefully. So yeah.
And then hopefully Michael will get some games up on his channel as well.
Yeah, you guys are talking like I'm still trying to get my second game up on my on my own channel.
One mic, 2 games. Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to wrap us up for tonight. We want to thank all the callers that called in. Join us tomorrow night for an RPG conversation, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on the Beans and Dice channel. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
I'm Wayne.
And we're a podcast about
How we
we
game. Oh, hit it.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to
Tell
like
your
and
friends.
subscribe.
Let them know what we're up to. Share it.
Like and subscribe. Hit the thumb up.
Good night, everybody.